Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. Salute and happy Sunday to those who are up. Had a glorious weekend. Those of you that's in church, all the blessings to you. I just want to give a salute to all the WCS supporters and those of you that actually tuned in last night for the DAZN fight card and also for previous combat news and media that is coming from World Combat Sports platform. Well, this morning, back at it again, man. Devin Haney improves his record with another win. And, he went the distance. So his knockout percentage, pretty much settles out, stays the same. But the good thing about it is that he is, he picks up another victory. My point is, I want to talk about the performance itself. That's what I'm, choosing to talk about today, because that's a very important part of, how we sit up here and give our opinion on these boxing performances, even though a lot of us, it's not stepping in the ring, but we give our opinion. But I want to make it perfectly clear with receipts that y'all need to stop trying to sit up here and coddle the fact that Devin Haney went the distance because he chose to, because he wanted to carry Gamboa, who's 39 years old this year, all the way to the distance. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Don't even come over here with this nonsense that I'm hearing, because you're not going to sit up here and go in on my other fighters. Some of my other favorite fighters. What's good for one is good for all, right? So we're going to keep that same freaking energy when it comes to Devin Haney. We're going to keep the same energy. It's not hating. It's reporting. Don't come over here whining, crying, talking about, well, you hate. I'm not hating on anything, man. It's the fact. You can't pick and choose who keeping it real and who choose to be real sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, oh, keeping it real, who choose to be real. Don't come here with that. He went the distance with a 39-year-old fighter whose son was saying he was 53. So is nothing wrong with that? The score is read 118-109 and 120-107 times 2. That was the scores in a blowout. An absolute blowout of a fighter that he should have basically had a lopsided decision against. A fighter who's coming off an injury. A fighter who looked fairly decent in there, but he was absolute dance partner for Devin Haney, enough to make it okay. The fight, in a sense, when it came to Devin Haney boxing skills, it did give me what I was looking for. Like I said, I'm not wavering from the fact that Devin Haney is a technically astute practitioner in there. His grooming, as far as his technique goes, has basically gotten to a point where he's one of the best at it when it comes to boxing. Like his skill set, he's one of the best at what he does technically sound, discipline, all of that. But when it comes to the level that you are competing with, you're competing as a top tier name in the sport. You're competing to continue to grow your brand. You're competing to say, okay, when others mention Devin Haney, they mention me above all the other names that's out there. And people would do that when it comes to his boxing skills. They will absolutely give you that accolade. They say, he's one of the more technically sound, disciplined, beautiful tactician of the sweet science when it comes to boxing. We seen that last night. Sharp, elusive, fast hands. He had fast hands, and his attention to detail was there. But that's not even what this live is about. I felt overall the performance and what we're trying to build up to for 2021, it missed the mark. It underwhelmed. He headlined in on the Zone, and I know it was in the bubble, but comparable to his freaking counterparts in the lightweight division, Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney still comes in third. He still comes in third. At the end of the day, he comes in third after the performances that we've seen from Teofimo Lopez and freaking Gervonta Davis. Now, you may be asking yourself, like, well, we thought he fought a perfect fight. No such thing. You know what I'm saying? A perfect fight, even when somebody earns a knockout, people come up here with criticism and say, well, who was he fighting? And he supposed to have did that, right? And that's what I'm saying. In this particular case, we was expecting him to go in there and get the knockout. But it was a lot of posturing, you know, single jabs here and there. It was almost like the first half of the Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko fight, only because Vasily didn't really want to truly engage. And that was between both of these guys. You know, each one of them chose to take the lead whenever they felt the energy to do so. But once the fight got to the 6th round, 7th, 8th, I mean, we're looking for those pockets so we can come on here and talk about, like, damn, did you see the 8th round? The 8th round, that shit was intense. Man, they went in there and exchanged. Heavy shots was landed. So-and-so got the better of that round. But it was like each round all the way up to the final bell was like, it was just mediocre to me. Outside of the boxing skills by both fighters, like I said before, Devin Haney supersedes Gamboa when it comes to speed, his countering ability, his eye test, the way he's able to see certain shots and being able to counter. Slick fighter. But I'm telling you, the fight came up short. And what's good for one is good for all. Because you're probably saying to yourself, well, why are you being so critical? Because, you know, he should have went in there and closed it out. Don't sit up here and act like this man is freaking super ducked. Man, you got plenty of people that's trying to fight him. I'm pretty sure Gary Russell looking at that fight like, shit, I still want to fight him. Gary Russell looking at that fight, I still want to step in there with Haney. He ain't showed me nothing different. Give me what I'm looking for. You can't sit up here and say, well, you know, he carried them all the way to the 12th round. Absolutely not, man. He went to the 12th round. He landed some shots on Gamboa. I mean, it was one time he came with that right cross. It was a counter too. He caught Gamboa directly on the chin, and Gamboa didn't flinch. He didn't wave. He didn't stumble. His legs didn't get wobbly. None of that shit. He kept on fighting. It wasn't a moment in there where he was able to slow down Gamboa for him to do what he was trying to do. Like, he started to break Gamboa down. You know what I'm saying? I did not see that at all. I didn't see it. What's good? Sir Ken in the building. What's good? Kind of local sports in the house. What's good with you, Kano? Beast in the building. Dang, Beast in the building comes with the fire on a Sunday, straight from the podium. Straight from the podium. He says, Teofimo stops freaking Haney in 6. You know, y'all have to keep that same energy, man. Y'all have to keep that freaking same energy, because y'all pick and choose who the hell you want to boost up, and then you destroy other fighters. Well, what's good for one is good for all. And Devin Haney is not innocent in here and calling out other fighters while they're fighting and criticizing them. You know, you want receipts? I can give you receipts. Just the one that he was in there talking about Gervonta Davis. You read me what that says. He said Lopez versus Haney 2021. Let's do it, right? Then he say, I've been said Loma was whack. So Lomachenko was whack, but Loma's 32. When I mentioned this on somebody else's platform, you know, they didn't think too much of it. Oh, he's 32. You support Wilder. He's much older. I'll say, well, Wilder don't have, you know, as much miles on him. But he said Loma's whack. Teo's falling apart. But just look, just earlier you said Lopez, Haney, 2021. Let's do it. Teo's falling apart. Loma's too small, too old. I bet the commentators won't dare mention my name tonight. Well, you had your chance on the big stage, man. On the zone, you was headlining the card, and that's why people are saying that Devin Haney has the name, he has the skill set, the promise. But then when it comes down to his it factor, he don't provide that it factor like we saw with the Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis's. He don't provide the it factor. Not just yet the headline. Teofimo Lopez had 2 instances where he provided that it factor. And nobody said he was trying to go the damn distance. All they did was, who has the Richard Comey fault? So he went in there and cleaned out Richard Comey in 2 rounds, came in there and picked up the belts and unified the division with the top pound for pound guy. That's it factor. That shit was free TV and did 4+ million views. 4+ million views. Then it comes to Gervonta Davis. He's in the ATL, goes into the 12th round with Gamboa and stops him. Gamboa is one of those guys who's an Olympian, and he had his ups and downs, ebbs and flows in his career. We know what the damn story is. But he fought. He had an injury and fought. So if his foot was hurt, Gervonta did what he needed to do. He closed him out. Just like Terrence Crawford did Jose Benavidez. Had one leg, he closed him out in the 12th round. Man, y'all got to stop bigging up these fighters, man, who you choose to give these damn injected storylines to, and you want to beautify it. And then when media like myself, you want to pick and choose what media you want to jump on and try to go in on, when there's other people out here criticizing fighters, and then all of a sudden, oh, it didn't turn out the way they want. And then they want to say, well, let me change up the narrative. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Gervonta Davis closed out Gamboa in the 12th round, then closed out this recent fight. It factor, PPV status, 2.25+ PPV buys. And you all want to get on here and talk about Devin Haney carried Gamboa to the last round? Why would he wants to put in and give a people? Everybody knows Devin Haney can box. Everybody knows he can box. Everybody knows the group of people that he's been immersed around and learned and soaked up that boxing knowledge. We already know this. Why would we want to see Devin Haney box an older, antiquated Gamboa? We don't want to see that shit for 12 rounds just because you want a headline on the zone. We want to see you go in here and destroy this cat, man. That's what boxing is about. It comes a point in time, man, you got to say you sick and tired of hearing people pick selectively the more popular fighter, you know, in their cachet of favorites. And then they want to big them up and come up these damn bum ass scenarios. But yet fighters that's pretty much unfavorable, they dog them out. Gervonta Davis attached to Floyd Mayweather, they might not give him that same credit for going in there stopping Gamboa in the 12th. But he stopped him though. He never stopped the pressure. He never aborted the hunt. He stayed 10 toes down, and he was end up stopping him. And people was like, ha ha ha, yeah, all this shit on here. Don't let me start putting out audio. I'm trying not to be petty. Don't let me pull out the audio. It's individuals up here talking about, you know, and what you expect. Gamboa had one leg. Well, guess what? He didn't have one leg last night. He looked like he was operating on 2 solid limbs. His wheels were great. He got outboxed, but he wasn't finished. 39 years old. Keep the same energy that you had when Gervonta Davis fought him, because Devin Haney was supposed to go in here to to certain people's narrative and absolutely demolish Gamboa. But then, people are going to jump on here with this damn choir on a Sunday. Dearly beloved, I'm gathered here today to convince these casuals that Devin Haney carried Gamboa to the final bell. And though it's a bunch of bullshit, I just want to try my best to pass down this narrative as if it's scripture. I don't ask forgiveness because it's not up to me on if they believe it or not. My whole priority is just to tell the lie. That's all I'm here for. I'm here to pass down a lie, and what they do with it is absolutely up to them. Man, nobody have time to be hearing this back and forth. It's a lot of inconsistencies that goes on out here when people are picking and choosing their favorite fighter. And, I commend it. I gave, Devin Haney mad love. But for him to be a top name in the lightweight division, y'all trying to act like he went up here and did what? You trying to say this Sean Porter, Yordenis Ugas type of performance? Nothing is signed yet. No one has been talking about Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, but they was talking about Sean Porter and Errol Spence. So for Sean Porter to go in there and have a different type of freaking game plan against Yordenis Ugas, okay. If you want one better, I can give you when the first Canelo Alvarez and Triple G fight was signed. It was signed before he stepped in there with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So when Canelo stepped through the ropes, we already knew Chavez Jr. wasn't winning. We knew that shit already. And then Chavez Jr. was a freaking punching bag the entire fight. So once the fight was over, who split the ropes and came to the center square? Gennady Golovkin. That wasn't the case last night. Haney was stepping in there with the guy who a lot of people love to imply with these Cuban fighters, Luis Ortiz, Yorkis Gamboa. They always want to say these guys are 53, 50, 60, all this shit. I heard 6,000 years old. People was just clowning like, yeah, he's so old. But yet, Sunday, we supposed to show compassion. It's not hate, people. It is not hate to get on here and speak up. Devin Haney isn't innocent. All these fighters talk shit about one another. All of them. So don't get up here crying and goddamn have to change out one, because it's all bloody and shit. You come over here all soft, goddamn, mad. Your shit not feeling right because somebody not bigging up a one-sided biased freaking commentary on the aftermath of a fighter that we looking forward to step in there with two of the best in the division, Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez. How are we building this up to be a PPV off what we seen yesterday? How are we building this up? Errol Spence and Sean Porter have an absolute different type of star power than Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter heading into that fight was a WBC champion. Errol Spence, IBF. I mean, on the pound for pound list was Errol Spence. It's a different it factor. Even though Teo is on the pound for pound list, still this fight, in order for it to be PPV outside of the zone, who does not have that structure, it has to be a fight that people really want to tune into. And I'm telling you, they wasn't really impressed with all the dancing in the back end of the fight. This is Teofimo Lopez these fighters talking shit to one another. Look at, they talk shit. That's an old ass damn thumbnail, but it's receipts. They all talk shit. And look at what Gervonta Davis put out there. He said very little. He's coming off his fight. And Gervonta Davis just put this tweet out, last night. Those are his compeers. Once again, you cannot sit up here and cry, whine, bitch, and complain that someone's hating on somebody when Teofimo Lopez was in there. He was fighting Vasily Lomachenko, who's a top 2 pound for pound at the time. And he's sending out tweets. He's trying to basically big up a fight for 2021, but yet he's talking down on the opponent that Teofimo's facing. And he's talking about Teo is falling apart. Well, hey, guess what? When it comes down to last night, you landed some power shots and they absolutely did nothing. And you can't just sit up here and say you pulled the shots. I didn't see you pulling any shots, anything. You might not you might not have the power, but you're blessed with the innate boxing ability, Devin Haney. You're beautiful to watch with the sweet signs. You can box your ass off, man. But when it comes to the people that's in the division right now, a lot of people are saying, shit, Gary Russell looking at that fight with Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, he said, yeah, I want that. He looking at this fight with Devin Haney, he said, yeah, I want that. Teofimo Lopez, he's up there, putting his tweets up. People have to understand, Gervonta Davis is no Yuriorkis Gamboa. Y'all need to understand that. Teofimo Lopez is no Yuriorkis Gamboa. For whoever always want to put race into this shit, when it comes to boxing, it really messes shit up because you'll go out here and push. But then when the result don't go out your way, you want to come back and make excuses. That's not the type of people I'm used to. Like, I'm looking for the ones who keep it real, not the damn, I'm looking for the real ones. I like you. You keep it, you keep it real. I'm not looking for the ones who always keeping it real, because that's a lot of fake shit in there. I'm looking for the real ones though. The real ones are the ones that call it the way it is, that don't jump on certain sides and exacerbate the narrative just so it can fit the masses who's tuned in to watch them. Give a damn what the numbers look like. I'm telling you, Devin Haney stepping in there with Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis, he's going to have some issues. But at the end of the day, what is this sport called? The sweet signs. It's boxing. But the one thing about it, that entire trio, people, the entire trio, from Teofimo Lopez, a unified champion, 4-time champion Gervonta Davis, and WBC champion Devin Haney can all box. Can all box. Who can box better and where? At distance, on the inside? How many, who can get the best of who when it comes to making those changes, changing the momentum, seizing the moment? It's a way that we can evaluate that. And then it comes to the power aspect of it. Power. Teofimo Lopez has power, and Gervonta Davis has power. Devin Haney is coming off a unanimous decision with Alfredo Santiago. TJ in the building, what's good? Mitch in the building, salute to you. He said, imagine Haney when he moves up in weight, his power is going to be worse. Why are we cutting ourselves short, man? Those of you that drop in, why are we cutting ourselves short trying to come up with a narrative that he carried Gamboa to the 12th round when he just came off a unanimous decision with Alfredo Santiago, who was 12-0? What is the excuse now? It's no fucking excuse. And I'm not lying back for this either. I'm not lying down for this congregation of media that want to get on here and freaking blanket him with a halo and say, oh, he was just, nobody will fight him. He just fought Alfredo Santiago. He was undefeated. Dominican Republic. He just came off a unanimous decision. He just stepped out the ring with Yorkis Gamboa, a Cuban fighter. It went to decision. It was a lopsided decision, but he went to the final bell, people. What am I missing? I ain't missing shit, man. I'm not missing nothing. Our expectations was for him to go over here and get the old guy out. That was our expectations, to get the old guy out and move on to a possible PPV. Because I can tell you this, I seriously doubt Teofimo is going to fight Devin Haney on free TV. I know Bob Arum has been saying, he's not trying to freaking, have a partial gate. He just want to wait. I understand where he's coming from, but PBC just had a partial gate. You didn't hear any aftermath of COVID. You didn't hear none of that shit. The fight week went out, you had like 9,000 people in the arena. It went off just fine. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at now. We just had the election go different than, we had that change up for a plus. We have 2021 coming in, and now getting to the closing end to the freaking the final 2 months of 2020 boxing calendar. We was waiting on the back half of this trio with Devin Haney, 24-0, 15 knockouts, to go in there and get the job done easily. But let me read to those who tune in. Let me read to you what Devin Haney said. I wanted to show that I can pitch a shutout. Oh my God. He said he wanted to show that he can pitch a shutout. Haney told Boxing Scene after the win, I didn't get hit with anything big. Gamboa has managed to hurt a lot of his past opponents. How, Sway? How his past opponents? He just came off Gervonta Davis. Who did he hurt? He landed some shots on Gervonta, but when was Gervonta hurt though? I know a lot of you haters was thinking Leo Santa Cruz knocked down Gervonta, and you was jumping, trying to grab the roof. You was being fake as, fake as you could be, wishing Gervonta get back, the karma for his outside actions. But see, that's just the fake shit we deal with in life. We got motherfuckers out here vouching for your downfall. They hoping, wishing. And when Gervonta Davis went down, they was hoping of a knockdown. Yeah, Gervonta went down. Yeah. Well, guess what? Gamboa, he didn't have Gervonta in any type of trouble in State Farm Arena. He says Gamboa has managed to hurt a lot of his opponents, especially a lot of big names. He didn't hurt me once or hit me with anything big. And that's a statement within itself. Man, he's an older fighter. Was he supposed to hit you with something big? Was he supposed to, though? The man has been on the canvas 14 times, and you are claiming that he did not hit you with anything big. Isn't that the scenario that you want? For you to go in there and put a masterclass performance on a guy who's way past his competitive edge? Isn't that what we look for? Because if it is, then stop playing like you did something special. Everything felt great. Being back in there after being out so long, revealed Haney, I felt really good in there. And I'm just ready to get back in the ring as soon as possible. They're always going to say something regardless. I just want to keep growing, keep getting better, and making the big fights happen. I want a big fight next. I want a big fight next. People have to understand their favorite fighter accountable for their actions too. And Devin Haney talks shit about other fighters. He was talking shit about Gary Russell. He was talking shit about Teofimo Lopez. They trash talk each other. They're grown ass men. They're trash talking one another. But it's the adults that's on here that wants to cry and bitch up when they're bigging up a fighter and he don't perform like you saying he was. You saying he was going to go in there and freaking knock Gamboa the fuck out and get him out of there in freaking 5 rounds, and he shouldn't be in there with Devin the Dream Haney. Well, he went the fucking distance, y'all. He went the distance easily. There's nothing you can say about anything except for what you've seen. People are going to say something regardless. Devin Haney, you was talking trash too. You were talking trash. And that makes a good, Beast makes a good point. Imagine when Haney moves up, his power is going to be worse. Someone had dropped some in my inbox. I can't take credit for it. I didn't even put the receipt up. But someone said that Haney may be the black Paulie Malignaggi. What's going on, Rap Star? Salute to you, my brother. What's good? Somebody say he might be the black Paulie Malignaggi, man. I mean, is that a bad thing? Paulie Malignaggi, man, he was a multi-division champion, right? I saw Paulie go in there and bare knuckle fighting and beat a mixed martial artist in the main event with one hand. He boxed him with one hand. I had to give Paulie his respect after all the shit he talked leading up. I gave him his respect for being a boxer, a very well-schooled boxer who went in there and got the job done. But bro, out of respect, y'all can't come on here spinning the narrative and talking this nonsense when he just came off a unanimous decision win with Alfredo Santiago, and then he jumps in here with a guy who's much older than Santiago, and he goes the distance again. And y'all up here acting like this man has a hidden freaking cachet of TNT, like he has the damn stick of dynamite. He has it, but he's just holding off so he can freaking play games. Everybody, look, every one of those top names that's out here that wants to fight Devin Haney, they already know what he has. They sparred him. They know. Man, what are y'all talking about? We're talking about what is being displayed on the biggest stage. We're not talking about sparring. All this sparring. We're talking about now. We're talking about stepping in for one of the biggest fights in the lightweight division. And y'all actually believe that he's concealing an atom bomb? He's concealing biological freaking warfare? He's concealing a punching powers that's so lethal that when it's time for him to step in the ring with these guys, we're going to consider him to have more punching power than Teofimo Lopez or Gervonta Davis? I'm saying to myself, prove it. You should have proved it already, because right now the boxing fans coming off that shit with Lomachenko and Lopez, cruising Davis. We want to see it when it's in front of the screen. We don't want this damn scenario-based storyline to say, well, he carried Gamboa so he can pretty much play the tease game and get his opposition that he wants to step in there. Team Lopez looked at that shit like, just what I thought. Like, where do you think this is going right now, people? What do you think this narrative that you're spinning about him carrying Gamboa to the final round, what do you believe it's going to play out? It has to play out inside the ring. So where within this 12-round fight that you're trying to tell me Devin Haney was such a magician that he was able to throw his punches half speed just so he wouldn't, or no, just so he could get some of this opposition that he's looking to step into the ring with to believe that he doesn't have any punching power. He just came off a unanimous decision with Alfredo Santiago. What do you mean? Gervonta Davis has only went the distance with one fighter. 24 victories, 23 knockouts. What are you saying, people? And that was like in his 10th fight or whatever. And Gervonta Davis, when he was 8-0, he fought a guy who had over 40-something professional fights. And if you look on his resume, he even has more now. He is what you call a journeyman. He was tough, but Gervonta Davis fought him early in his career, and the guy went the distance. But lo and behold, everybody else, including Leo Santa Cruz, met their fate. And I'm telling you, you can't continue to sit up here and support your favorite fighter without keeping what's called, quote unquote, I like you, you keep it real. Now, motherfuckers only pick and choose who the hell they say keeping it real. They selectively pick and choose. They pick and choose. They want to make some people to speak up and keep it authentic. They want to call you a hater, or they want to call you a motherfucking, if your own people, they accept here and call you a Sambo, Uncle Tom and all that because you're not supporting all the roster of black fighters. I support. That's what I can't understand. I support Deontay Wilder heavy, but then I come up here and support Teofimo Lopez. People get all bent out of shape. Bleeding all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Running to the Dollar Tree. And can I get some more Tampax, please? Tampax. Man, what is it going to be? Y'all need to make up your fucking mind. When the person slices down the middle and give you a non-biased opinion, nah, that ain't cool because this nigga here, he don't support, all the black fighters. He was up there saying that about Devin Haney. But then you got ignorant ass niggas, uneducated, out here dogging fighters out. And then when a fighter win, they jump on the motherfucking wagon. And they try to roll that shit down the street like they always been a part of the damn ride to begin with. Devin Haney's performance last night was okay. The reason why I say it was okay has nothing to do with his boxing skills, the reduced value of him as a boxer and his boxing skill, the cachet that he has to his arsenal. Salute to Mickey Bay and BH, all them cats, man. If we talking about keeping it a buck, if we're trying to make a fight with Teofimo Lopez, it takes more than a name. We ain't out here trying to damn do scenarios and freaking riddles and walk through a maze blindfolded and shit and trying to see who can figure it out the most. You figure it out. Seriously? You seriously think he'd go the distance with Gamboa? And then you get on here talking about you wanted to show people that you can pitch a shutout. Why in the hell are you trying to pitch a shutout with Gamboa, though? Prove to us you can pitch a shutout with Teofimo Lopez. That's the dumbest thing I heard in a while. Man, I got to keep it 100. Man, come on, bro. Man, Devin Haney, man, please, man. I wanted to show that I can pitch a shutout with a 39-year-old dude. He has a birthday coming up, 39 years old. And you saying you wanted to show that you can pitch a shutout. This is not the MLB, bro. This is boxing. You're one of the top names in hottest divisions that's popping right now. And you're showing people that you can go the distance? No, you went the distance because you didn't get them up out of there. That's point blank. I don't hear the storyline this morning for some reason. Because I think a lot of y'all just afraid to disappoint and go against the grain because you think BH gonna pull up on your ass. Well, be a man about it. Don't bitch up. Jump on here with the same energy you had bigging him up, bigging Devin Haney up before he stepped in the square, man. It's nothing personal. Big him up. But I'm saying I don't see all these media outlets out here keeping in the buck that you was disappointed with a one-sided victory. And, you know, the post-fight comments that he wanted to show people. Why are you trying to show us after we've seen two phenomenal fights take place with the top ranked fighters in the lightweight division? Why are you trying to show us that you can go the distance with an old dude that's been on the canvas 14 times, that was just coming off a knockout with Gervonta Davis? Why are you trying to prove to us like we want to watch a soap opera? Man, you in an era right now where people are on the move. It's fast paced. Nobody's trying to sit up here and hear that you was trying to go the distance with Gamboa. We want to see you go in there and do that Gervonta. We want that Gervonta freaking sauce on it. The way Gervonta ended that fight with Leo Santa Cruz was beautiful, man. Ferocious. It was ferocious. The way he allowed and pulled it out of Santa Cruz to send that right hand. He stayed on the center. Come on, Leo Santa Cruz. Go ahead. Send it again. Whoop, pop, whoop, pop, whoop, pop. That's all you heard. Whoop, pop. Dip to the left. Sent that uppercut. Leo Santa Cruz never. That's what we want. We want that climactic moment to close the fuck out. Done. Chaos, mayhem. Jump on social media, report on it. Why? I'm not seeing all these damn people up here talking about the fight last night. Where's everybody at? You know, where you at, people? Keep it real. Ain't that what we do? Keep it real. Keep this shit a buck. Y'all niggas want a reality show. Keep it a buck on Sunday. Say the same shit you was talking before he stepped in the ring. I don't want to hear no, you went the distance. You wanted to show people you can pitch a shutout. This ain't the MLB. You ain't Sammy Sosa. The fuck we talking about? You ain't Hank Aaron. You ain't swinging a bat in there. You're swinging a left and right. The only one you're supposed to be worried about is the opponent that's in front of you. He ain't tossing you no damn tennis ball. We ain't going. Look, we wasn't there to look at 9 innings. We was there to see you perform, put on a show, close out that. On to the next. People need to stop comparing Haney to Floyd. I get it, bro. I get it with this. And that's why I don't, I really don't bring it up like that all the time. But people continue to compare him to Floyd, but yet he put on a performance like this, and I don't hear shit. I'm not seeing nothing. I don't hear nothing. Like, where's all this Floyd comparison today? Like, where is it, bro? Like, where's all this Floydness? This Floydologist? Where are all the Floydologists today on Sunday? You can't be in church because a lot of them still shut down to the COVID. B said Gamboa never looked hurt. Facts, man, he didn't look hurt. Gamboa never was hurt doing a single freaking round of this fight. And he gets on here and says, I wanted to prove that I can put your shutout. You have never been a baseball player. Never been a baseball player. This ain't baseball. This boxing. They start with a B. Swinging motions in both sports. But who tuned into the zone to see you pitch a shutout? Why are these boxing platforms are not on right now talking about the obvious? Why was everybody agreeing that he pitched a shutout and that's all you was looking for? That's bitch assness right there. Serious, I gotta call that shit for what it is. If fuckboyism. This just irritates me a bit more than usual because they want to get on here and talk about the realness though. Where's the realness at today? Someone who totally understands the realness will know that a person is going to tell you the good and the bad. Isn't that what they say? I appreciate you for telling me the good and the bad of it. Isn't these the same people that say, oh man, you're a fanboy if you don't say anything bad about a boxer? So that just proves my point on how some people want to pick and choose selectively on who's keeping it real. World Combat Sports, he report on all fighters, so that's why we really don't fuck with him like that, because he just don't support, the black fighters across the spectrum. Well, you obviously don't check my catalog out, because me driving to locations and doing media on boxers, I call that support. I call me putting in my own dime support. I call me studying up on the fighters support. That goes for boxing and mixed martial arts. So you really need to do a little bit more before you step on here and act like I'm not doing shit. Today, it's Haney time. Today is Haney time. Haney said he wanted to prove to whoever that he was talking to that he can pitch a shutout. And I'm telling you, no. When Floyd was a lightweight, he was fighting better competition and he was knocking them out. True words, man. People forget that Floyd used to knock fighters out in the lower division. Floyd was a problem. And people want to just take from Floyd's master defense, his masterful, he called it the Mayweather defense. But the other, the older heads, the older OGs, call it the Philly shell, and so speak. We know where it came from. But anyway, Floyd was giving it. He was giving it, man. You take his fight with Castillo, right? You take both of the fights with Castillo, and people will spin that shit back over and over again and take bits and pieces from it and say, that's way better than what Devin Haney did last night when he stepped in there with Diego Corrales. Chop, chop. Let's just put one up there that he was actually hurt when they want to talk about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's science dives a lot deeper than just being defensively masterful. Floyd Mayweather's resilience and the way he go in here and train and his salubrity to the sport, the way he takes care of his body, proved that when Sugar Shane Mosley stunned him, when Sugar Shane Mosley rocked Floyd Mayweather and buckled him, he was able to fight through adversity. They're not talking about that. They talk about Floyd getting up in the morning and 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning going running. I get it. But Floyd Mayweather's overall skill set in general is a huge gap from Devin Haney. Huge. Y'all need to understand that. It's a huge disparity between Floyd Mayweather and Devin Haney. It takes more than just being able to go in there and fluently box. You have to put all the pieces together. You got to stop putting this man on a pedestal, and then when he lose, people are going to be running and saying, well, You know, I know Floyd record is undefeated, but man, y'all being too hard on him. Somebody went on here talking about he's just a kid. Devin Haney is not a kid. He's 22 years old this month. Stop crying. Hype the beast. We all saw the fight. Gamboa was hurt several times. Man, you full of it. Not even. Gamboa wasn't hurt several times. Man, if you didn't go get your eyes checked before the fight, next time go in there and wear glasses. Gamboa wasn't hurt several times. Appreciate you for stopping through there, Lions Hunt, for real. But I got to keep it a buck, bro. When was Gamboa hurt, bro? Like, come on, man. When was he hurt? Obviously hurt to the point where we're saying, okay, he's coming. He's coming. He's about to get this knockout. Where was Gamboa hurt? We can say the same thing when Gamboa landed that three punch combination on Gervonta Davis down in the A. When Gervonta was a little tired, got complacent, and Gamboa pieced him up with a 3-punch combo. And the crowd was like, oh, shit. Here we go. And then Gervonta shut that shit down. You never heard Gervonta Davis get on here and say, I was just proving that I can go to the 12th round with Gamboa. That I was just proving to the Atlanta fans that the ATLians in the house, what's good? I was just proving to y'all that I can go the distance. I can go into the 12th round because I ain't never been here before. That's what I was doing, but I had to close the show anyway, so I did. But my whole intention was to prove that I can go in the 12th round with a 38-year-old Gamboa. It makes no sense at all, man. Come on, with all this hurt several times, man. We never saw Gamboa get wobble. Facts, Beast. Facts. We never seen Gamboa get hurt. We never seen the ref pay extra attention to him. We never even seen him take punishment like, going in Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder's fight. Like that was a brutal fight, punishing fight. We never seen Gamboa in that type of trouble. So where's all this coming from? Sympathy? Man, y'all got to be real with y'allselves, man. Come on, this boxing shit. Y'all always talking about keeping it real, this boxing shit, all this other stuff. And then y'all get on here and I don't hear nothing. I don't hear too many people talking about the aftermath, man, on how this fight fell short. Haney clearly wanted the knockout, but pitched a shutout. And see, I can respect that, Lion Hunt. I can respect you saying Devin Haney wanted the knockout because I felt he did too. Devin Haney landed some solid shots. So what is going to be, Lion Hunt? Either the narrative is, check this out, Lion Hunt. The narrative from Devin Haney is like he wanted to prove that he can pitch a shutout. But clearly, there's eyeballs out here that's seeing that he was trying to land some damn hard punches and get the knockout. So since he didn't get it, he wanted to prove he can pitch a shutout. We ain't in fucking baseball, man. We want Teo to take the fight for undisputed. That's the only thing to big up. Man, whatever. I don't know, man. I'm telling them Lopez, they have, man, they all about the ticket right now. They all about being a prize fighter, man. They all about, increasing their value as a fighter. They said Haney said he was going to knock Gamboa out in 1 second. This kid is overrated. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, man, you got to keep the same energy. You got to keep the same energy, people. You can't come up here because Bill has been on all these platforms and you quiet. You silent. You don't know what you talking about, punk. That's Devin Haney, punk. We gonna keep quiet. We don't want BH to pull up, punk. Come on now. Stop it. Hey, Rapstar, get back on here, bro. I didn't see you, man. I was over here. I didn't see you, bro. Um, what never was hurt? Okay, that's called straight up line. Y'all hate Dev, but y'all favorite fighter gonna keep ducking him. I don't know who my favorite fighter is. Like I say, you need to turn the pages back to my catalog. Who's my favorite fighter in this division? Yeah, I support Teofimo Lopez. I covered him before. But if you only jumped on this live for the first time, or you haven't had the opportunity to check out, the fighters that I've covered, you cannot say that I'm hating on Devin Haney. We need to exclude that word and flush it, do away with it, because it can't be hating all because it's a fighter that people are trying to big up to be the best, but the performance wasn't there. But yet you hate on freaking Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis. Last time I checked, Gervonta's black. Y'all up here hating on Gervonta because he's up there stepping in with Gamboa and saying he's an old grandpa and he's fighting a washed up tomato can Uber driver, a Lyft assistant, a New York cab specialist. Y'all giving all this shit. And then you're jumping on social media with Teofimo's fighting the top 2 pound for pound guy in the game. And you up here saying that, oh man, Lomachenko had a hurt shoulder. Lomachenko was giving Teofimo the business in the latter half of the fight. I had to fight a draw. You bullshit. You trying to get mad at Gervonta for his outside the ring antics. That you need to leave those individuals to take care of that on the outside. You need to allow that to happen legally the way it should. But to say that Gamboa was hurt, when was he hurt to the point where he was absolutely in trouble and we were concerned? Alexander in the building. Good morning, man. Hold on, y'all.
What's up, bro?
You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I mean, you preaching, brother. I see
Hey,
you preaching,
Rapstar,
man.
hold up, Rapstar. You got on here, man. You sound like you've been out. You was drinking and you was disappointed. Look, you had a slow morning. It seemed like you got a slow morning. You weren't disappointed, were you?
Man, I gotta tell you, bro. I hear you preaching. You making me laugh right now. I mean, you are preaching a lot, but I gotta tell you, man. I lost money last night. But
What's going on, Line Killer?
yeah, I lost
Go ahead,
money
man.
last night. I hear you preaching to everyone, but you know what? The performance was okay. I think you're being a little bit harsh. The performance was okay. He shut out every round. Devin Haney did what he had to do in showing that he can win every second of the round, but he just didn't have Gamboa hurt in there, bro. And everybody went in the mindset. You know how many millions of dollars that people must have put before the round 8 for the stoppage?
Absolutely.
And it's the only reason we asked for the stoppage is because we know that it's not Devin Haney who's a knockout artist, but we know that the Gamboa is going in there old, with an injury, waiting for his retirement check. And Gamboa looked lazy in there as well. But it's just that because Devin Haney didn't put on a stoppage, everybody's disappointed. And that's only because they had high expectations going in there. But
Haney said he was going to finish him. Haney said he was going to, when you have a common opponent, okay, the common opponent was freaking him stepping in there with Gervonta Davis. All right. So that's future wise. That might be a common opponent for Devin Haney. But he was dogging out Gamboa stepping in there with Gervonta.
what you're saying is if you're gonna start being like that and put that energy on when it's against somebody else, you guys should keep the same energy when it's Devin Haney, basically. Right?
Talk to him, man. Talk to him.
No, I hear you. But look, if we didn't have all that hype, we wouldn't have been that disappointed with this performance. It's just that we've got all this hype and Devin Haney, and you're right, man. This last 2 months has been crazy out there. Bill Haney been going on every platform and telling everybody that, you know what, they're gonna knock Gamboa out. They're gonna hand him his retirement check and smoke him out. And you know what I mean? It's been a little bit disappointing coming from the energy of what we were expecting. But I'm not gonna lie to you, World Combat. A lot of hardcore fans had that fight before 6 rounds, Devin Haney stoppage.
Correct. That's all I'm saying. Man, stick with the same energy, bro. Don't get on here absent. Look, don't be absent now because BH pulls up to your platform and y'all was bigging him up and saying he was gonna wash Gamboa and it was gonna be an easy fight. He went the distance, and what I don't respect is the fact that he said he wanted to prove that he can pitch a shutout. Bullshit.
Well, is Bill Haney happy with the performance? Have you seen his interviews lately?
Yeah, I have seen him.
And he seems like he's happy with the performance now.
He's the father. He's the trainer. He's family. Of course he's supposed to support. Of course.
Look, World Combat, you're just not just a starstruck kind of person. I think you're not, man. And I know you're going to keep the same energy if Bill Haney pulls up on you, right? But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, right, the performance wasn't that bad. I mean, I know you're preaching to everyone. You're making me laugh. You're putting everyone straight. But the performance of Devin Haney wasn't hurt in that fight at any point.
I never said he was.
But he never hurt Gamboa that hard in any point. He never actually had Gamboa in trouble. We never saw the stinky leg. You know what I'm saying? And
that's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, I know you've mentioned that, several times before, the stinky leg. Gamboa was not doing the stinky leg, man. He was not. That's all I'm saying, Repstar. At no time did Devin Haney have him doing the stinky leg. Do the stanky leg.
Yeah. And not only that, if you look at the round 3, you can see Gamboa is actually having trouble with one of his legs, the same leg. You can see Gamboa actually, you know what it is, right? What I didn't understand about this fight. If you're a hardcore fight analyst, and I really do go deep, I don't understand why Devin Haney didn't train to go on the side of that leg so he could put Gamboa in such a position to, use that to his advantage because of the injury that Gamboa suffered. So he could keep moving to that side and put pressure on Gamboa. And there was a point where Devin Haney, I thought, was going to stay flat-footed and put pressure on Gamboa. Did you see when he went flat-footed?
Yeah, I saw when he picked up both of his legs. You know how you kind of shake out your legs?
Yeah.
I seen how that happened, man. I was like, okay, is something going on with his leg again? Because I was telling people, I don't think his Achilles tendon is healed properly. But I did see him pick up both of his legs, look down at it, and then he kept fighting,
Yeah, and at one point, I thought Devin Haney had Gamboa hurt a little bit. He did. But he just didn't press the action. And I felt like the reason why he didn't press the action, he felt in there. This is what I didn't like about the fight, I'm going to be honest. Devin Haney was too timid. He was too timid. And at a point where he just didn't feel comfortable to finish the job. Does that make sense to you, World Combat?
Hey, you heard what I said. I'm not going against what you just, say. I haven't even really dived into the timid aspect. I thought Devin Haney fought a damn good fight, to be honest. But I just didn't think he took risk.
Yeah, this is what I mean. He didn't take risk. He didn't want to take that extra risk. He didn't want to leave himself out there. I still felt that he was a little bit worried about Gamboa's counter shots. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shout out to Counter Local Sports in the building, man. What's good with you?
Man, what's good, man? I had no problem. I don't know, man. I mean, to each his own. I had absolutely no problem with what Haney did last night. He boxed a beautiful fight, showcased a great IQ, great ring generalship, and he shouldn't have put himself in no harm's way. Why would he?
But he put himself under pressure. He went in that fight giving energy that he's going to knock Gamboa out.
He's supposed to talk like that before a fight. Don't all fighters do that?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying is,
Kano. But when it comes to Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis, his divisional compeers, man, they also was talking trash, and they went in there and put on a better performance. But yet, after the fight, now it's gonna be like, I want to prove that I can pitch a shutout. Why? The guy is over the hill, man.
and
guy
Kana
with
Loco Sports, I respect you, Kana Loco, but what happened is Devin Haney went in with this game plan saying that, look, Gamboa's an old guy now. I'm going to go in there and finish him off for everyone. Devin Haney knew where he was going into, and even all the camp, you can look at all the interviews. Bill Haney was saying, look, this fighter is not like washed up, but we're going to finish it for him. They kept saying, we're going to do what Tank couldn't do. So they kept putting.
They was
So
comparing.
the problem is,
Man.
Kana Loco, when you keep putting disrespect on another fight like Tank and saying, we're going to show you what we're going to do, what Tank couldn't do, then people expect that, Kana Loco. You see what I mean?
Okay, but those two different fights. I keep telling people I hate when they compare common opponents, because Tank came out of there with two black guys. Let's just be real. Tank Gamboa was willing to go in there and trade with Tank, whereas he didn't do that from round one on. He didn't do that with Haney. He didn't touch Haney the way Gamboa touched Tank either. I mean, let's just keep it on this fight.
Absolutely. It was two different fights, but also we can say that Gervonta fighting Leo Santa Cruz was a different fight than he fought Gamboa, because he was in better shape. He's in a crowd, Atlanta, and he went in there and fought Gamboa differently. He ended up getting the knockout. He had knocked down Gamboa several times in that fight, but he made it a more tougher fight. Gervonta Davis is a much different fighter technically when it comes to being smart and taking less damage than Devin Haney. Devin Haney was long with this jab. Devin Haney was showing that he can box at a distance and touch his opponent up. He put on a beautiful display, show his technical boxing skills. But him and Gervonta, the way they mentality-wise they approach opponents is different. Gervonta liked to get hit. He liked to get on the inside and make it dirty. Devin Haney, not so much.
Listen, I compare that to like a young Mayweather, man. People, they see Mayweather, pitch a shutout like he did on several occasions, and they're gonna nitpick it no matter what. I like the way he is fighting right now more than I do the others, simply because he's more disciplined and stays on the outside pocket boxing. I think that's a smarter move as a boxer to go that route than to go in there and try to trade and bang and bang.
But he did try to knock Gamboa out. He tried his hardest to knock Gamboa out in there.
Okay, listen, he chose spots where he threw some heavy shots at, and
Okay.
but
he was frustrated.
Gamboa was in there trying to survive the whole round. Since round one all the way through, he tried to survive. Unless I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it. Unless
Conor Loco's making a lot of sense. If we didn't have all this hype yet, and we didn't have all these expectations, that performance is actually a good performance, right?
Look, I never said it wasn't a good performance.
But
I never said I didn't.
No, but what we're saying is, does he carry this killer power? He don't carry that power, World Combat. Devin Haney doesn't carry that power in the fight. He carries good technical ability. But does that kind of a fighting style help him with a Teofimo Lopez? Does that kind of a fighting style with that slim body frame help him with Teofimo? Because we know Teofimo's got that one punch which will take you out. You know what I mean? So what we're saying is they've been building this fight up, kind of Loco, like Devin Haney is the next killer. And that's a wrong attitude to have behind Devin Haney. Devin Haney is not a knockout artist. He's a good technical boxer. So just stick with the right energy with Devin Haney and stop making a whole bunch of narratives that Devin Haney is a Roberto Duran kind of fighter. He's not.
He's not. But Gervonta gives you a little bit of taste of Roberto Duran. He likes to stay on center and mix it up, and he will take some punishment like we seen with him with Leo Santa Cruz, even though it's a different division. But also the same thing with Gamboa. He stayed in there with Gamboa, mixed it up. But Haney loves fighting on the outside, using his defense, and he's a more slicker fighter. But I thought the trash that they was talking, sending Gamboa to retirement, and then trying to set up a fight with Teofimo Lopez where he was trash talking, I thought it fell short of the it factor.
I don't know, man. That same energy thing, man, to me, I don't know. I don't agree with you on that, World Combat. I'm sorry, but every fighter going into a fight is talking trash and talking something, man. We just gotta let that be. That's just build up for the fight, man. I mean,
Yeah, I understand.
that's the only thing I look at it and take from it, man.
I understand, but when two people coming from the same campus talking trash, three really, and you're talking trash about demolishing and sending somebody on a retirement plan, where you got to show up and you got to get the job done to the point where you did just that. What they did was allow Gamboa to have at least 2 more fights in his career.
I seriously doubt that. I think Gamboa is retired.
Absolutely not. Not after going in 12 rounds with Haney. He still has 2 fights on his career.
I don't see with who? With who?
C-level fighters. He stepped in there with 2 big names, Gervonta and Devin Haney. Now, Gamboa can step back in with whoever.
Richard
Hey, he could have did if it's a C-level fighter, he could have did that. If he got knocked out, he still would get in there with a C-level fighter and collect a check. That don't mean nothing.
No, Connor, you know better than that, because you know if you get knocked out, the suspension is different. You know, he ended the fight on his feet, man. So it gives him more of a quick turnaround to step back in here in 2021 and fight somebody. You know, he's set up for another check. You know, he finished the fight. It was a lopsided, but he didn't have that swollen eyes. You know, like you said, Gervonta, Leo Santa Cruz touched him up real nice. He had a black eye. But with Gamboa, both him and Haney could have got dressed and went to the club.
Well, I don't know. This is the way I'm gonna look at it. I don't have a horse in the race. I like what Teofimo brings to the table. I like what Tank brings to the table, and I also like what Devin Haney brings to the table.
So tell me, where do you favor Devin Haney in that fight? Where do you favor Devin Haney in that fight now? Do you favor Devin Haney more than Teofimo in that fight?
It's a stylistic nightmare for Teofimo, honestly, to be honest with you.
I think Teofimo's got that power and aggression to walk through him.
Like I said, it's a stylistic mesh that's going to clash really hard. I don't have a dog in the race. I like what each individual brings because they bring a different fight style. All 3 of them fight different.
You know, Loco, I tell you what, Devin Haney's feints were helping him a lot in that fight yesterday, right? But those feints won't help him with Teofimo Lopez. Because as you saw, Lomachenko's feints didn't help Lomachenko with Teofimo. And Devin Haney's going to be very, very wary with that power, what Teofimo brings to the table. He's going to be in the back of his head from that first round to however long they're in that fight. So, yeah, Carlo Loco's right. It's a whole different style of fights, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's absolutely. Look, of course, it's different styles of fight from these guys. Absolutely. We understand, but they were saying the same thing about Vasily Lomachenko stepping in there with Teofimo Lopez. He was going to box circles around him, you know, and have an easy go, and it wasn't the case.
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
No. I'm talking about them. I didn't say you. I said them.
Okay.
They was talking about the analysts and commentators. They was talking about how Lomachenko was going to have a easy go with Teofimo Lopez, and that wasn't the case. I see the same thing with Devin Haney, with people saying that technique-wise and the way he's able to shoot that jab out there and box at a distance and his defense, his quickness, is going to give Teofimo problems. Okay, it will periodically through the fight, in my opinion. I agree with you on that. But what happens when he closed distance like Gamboa was doing, even though he was holding a lot? What happens when Teofimo closes distance, get close, and fight on the inside with Devin Haney? Is Devin Haney going to be able to handle that power?
Man, if it was a fifth, we'd be drunk as hell, man. Like I said, the game plan going into that fight is not going to be the same. If that fight gets made, which I hope it does, because I want to see it as a fan of boxing. We all do, I think. Hey, listen, the game plan is going to be different. And, of course, Teofimo's game plan will also be a little different. They're going to make their adjustments going into that fight, which is why we love boxing. I'm not going to call something right now when they're not even signed to fight yet.
No, it's boxing talk, Connor. You know what it is, man. You've been in the game.
But I'll tell you what, it didn't help his credit. It didn't help his stock because we didn't get a lot of fan-friendly fights for this Devin Haney fight. Devin Haney did not get casual fans in this fight with what he did with Gamboa, because with the energy that they were going in this fight, trying to attract a lot of fans, Tank Davis made loads of casual fans. You know what I'm saying? With this performance, it doesn't bring a lot to the table with the casual fans either. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, man. And Tank is a pay-per-view star, whether we like it or not, because he's a knockout dude, man. It's like I tell people, man, I don't care if you like the individual or not. It goes back like when Tyson started knocking people out, man. He was a pay-per-view star. People, look, they're gonna love him no matter what. He's gonna sell. He is gonna sell no matter whether we like it or not. And as far as let me see what this mine. Teofimo will get KO Haney in 3. I don't think Teofimo will KO Haney in 3. And I'm pretty solid on my picks, man. I obviously, because 8 months before Teofimo fought Lomachenko, I said he was gonna beat Lomachenko. I said that Lomachenko wasn't on my pound for pound list. So
Correct.
I know I'm not capping.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this much.
Them.
I'm gonna tell you this much.
I said them when they was talking and bigging up the fight leading up to Teofimo Lomachenko. They were saying that, you know, most across the board, I would say about 98%. People was giving Lomachenko a chance to go in there and defeat Teo. But then I look at it this way too. The way Devin Haney boxes, how sharp he is, how well disciplined and schooled his boxing technique is displayed in the ring. They're going to be the same. They're going to be saying the same thing a little bit about him heading there with Teofimo. But we all seen Teofimo can box also. And it's going to come down to power versus boxing skill set technique.
All right, let me ask you a question. Man. Before we knew what the results were, because I know where I stood at on this fight.
You talking about last night?
No. Hold on.
What did you predict on this fight?
I'm gonna give you an example. I had Haney winning, but anyway, let me get to World Combat real quick. When Floyd Mayweather was getting ready to face Canelo Alvarez, how many people gave Floyd Mayweather a chance?
Yeah, they was doing the same thing. I agree. They was basically going against Floyd because they wanted to see him lose, though, Cano. You know what I'm saying? And plus, Canelo was the young gun, you know, Mexican fighter. They felt that he was going to go in there and blast through Floyd.
Exactly. And what happened? Floyd gave him a boxing lesson.
He got clinic.
And I told everybody that was going to happen back then as well. I'm like, look, man. Let's just hope that they sign that fight so we can get it. So then I'll do my prediction video, and then y'all can come back and talk to me about.
So let me get this straight, Cano. Hold on. Let me get this straight. So you're trying to provide the scenario that when it comes to Haney, Lopez, it is Floyd Canelo. Are you that's the scenario you're giving us?
I'm not giving you that exact scenario. I'm giving you examples as to you can't just say because a guy is a power puncher and the other one's a boxer that the power puncher is gonna win. My point is, you can't base that off of that.
No, I'm not.
Let me ask you something.
Listen, I don't think I'm being heard all the way. I'm just not going off power, man. Because look, it's some fighters out there that has a puncher's chance with the power. Teofimo Lopez can box.
Exactly.
I don't think he can box better than Devin, though. I give Teofimo his boxing, but
Devin Haney is much quicker. Let's get it straight. Devin Haney is much quicker than Teofimo Lopez.
His jab is better.
His jab is absolutely better, and the way he used it is way better. But
yeah, but that jab ain't gonna push Teofimo back.
Look, Teofimo's gonna have to make changes. He's gonna have to, just like they use Floyd saying all the time. A true champion can adapt to anything. Teofimo can. He has to go in there and adapt to Devin Haney's jab. And you know how you do that? You got to counter. You got to land some hard counter shots, man.
Let me just ask this. You call him the boogeyman. With that performance, do you really think Lomachenko was avoiding the smoke with Devin Haney? Answer me that. Do you think Lomachenko hasn't got a great chance to beat Devin Haney?
Look, I have no idea what Lomachenko had in his mind when he vacated and got the franchise. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the man's mind.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
Although I wish he would have fought Haney.
Yeah, I do too now. And I think with that performance, I give Lomachenko every chance, World Combat, to defeat Devin Haney, even at this age right now, at 32. He's got good IQ, ring IQ at World Combat.
Yeah, both of them got to have good ring IQ. And, you know, off that performance, it'll be a good fight for Lomachenko and Devin Haney. A real solid fight.
I would like to watch that fight. That would be a good fight.
I don't know, man. Devin showed me a lot yesterday because he was patient, man, and the ring IQ and ring generalship, man. I thought it was a thing of beauty, man. I don't know. I don't have no complaints about it. That's just me, man. I mean, I understand this is the world we live in, and everybody's gonna have a different opinion. I love the fact that he didn't rush and he didn't try to push just because all of the talk about knocking this dude out was out there. He didn't try to rush and search for it when it wasn't there. When Gamboa was trying to survive, man, he did the smart thing. He said, "Okay, this guy came in to survive." He held like so much that they even took a point from him. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Devin said, "All right, let me just sit back and let me box this dude because this ain't gonna be the way this fight's gonna go tonight." That was smart.
Yeah, it was smart.
Just don't
But his
compare
ring
Devin
got
Haney
you.
to no pretty boy Floyd Mayweather. Stop comparing him to the greats of the people so that we expect certain things. Let Devin Haney go at his pace. Let Devin Haney and Bill Haney shouldn't be going on every show saying that my son's gonna knock Gamboa the fuck out. Because Gamboa is an old man. Look, Gamboa is an old man, Conor Loco. And
y'all gotta stop with that, man.
No, you gotta admit he's an old man in there, bro. And if he can't put a great, he can't even stop a guy like that. He's gonna have problems at 1:35.
He was surviving. Oh my God!
But
and I didn't compare him. Of course, Gamboa was trying to survive. Who would doubt that? Who would fight that argument?
We were thinking that Devin Haney can go up 3-4 weights with the power that he carries. I did think he had a lot more power. I did. I personally was wrong about it because I see him knock out that dude in the zone. Remember, he knocked out that Mexican boy.
Yeah, Moran.
Yeah, so I thought Devin Haney definitely got to put a stoppage. Maybe I'm upset. I lost a few $100 yesterday, so maybe I just got to chill. But
But I didn't compare him to Mayweather. Let me clear that up. I was just using that as an example. I think I was clear on that. If you rewind that, I said as an example as to why you can't always pick the puncher against the boxer. I didn't say that they're identical fighters or that their skill levels are on equal level. I didn't go that far. I just used it as an example.
And I want to let you know this, Connor. All those channels that they were going with Devin Haney and Bill Haney, some of them are hating on Devin Haney now. All those casual fans which were riding with him all last week, they are disappointed with him today. I'm just letting you know.
Well, they're not a fan of boxing. I'm sorry, but they're just not a fan of boxing.
We have to understand with media, man, everything that comes out is not going to be, just on top of boxing expertise. I look at it like this, Haney and BH was talking the same language about going in there KOing. I can see if they never mention it, but they was mentioning it too. And then they was dogging out Gamboa, stepping in there with Gervonta Davis. So, of course, I have high expectations for Devin Haney to go in here and prove that he was going to do it better. But then he goes 12 rounds, and this is my thing, Kano. He goes in here and talking about he wanted to prove he can pitch a shutout. Of course, his ring IQ is going to look that way against a slower fighter and 39 years old this year, Gamboa. I mean, what was it supposed to happen? What was supposed to happen, bro?
I don't know, man. I think the biggest mistake everybody does, I'm saying everybody, not me, but most folks do, is try to compare what would Devin do compared to what Tank did. Man, when I did my pre-fight prediction, I said, I don't care what happened in that fight. This is a whole different fight. Two different styles going against each other. It matters not to me what the hell happened in the Tank fight. I don't do that. These folks got to fight their own fights, man. They're going to be a different fight. They're going to be in different shape. There's a lot of things that go into factor into the fights, man, when they face each other.
Absolutely. And if that's the case, then, Team Haney, they was dogging out Gamboa when he was stepping in there with Gervonta. So
they're supposed to do that, man. They're supposed to do that. Doesn't Danny Garcia do that? Danny Garcia's father what's his name? Teofimo's dad do the same thing, and
Lopez.
They all do that. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. They all do it. So what I'm saying and what other people are saying isn't going against the grain. It's right on the same current of them talking trash about Gamboa going into the Gervonta Davis fight, and we sitting up here providing our critique on how Devin Haney performed last night. It's no different.
He performed beautifully.
His performance, but the results came up short. He should have came over there with all the talk.
The results was he won. He picked the shutout. What do you mean? The results were a complete annihilation from round 1 to 12.
I don't consider annihilation when the man had a damn Achilles tendon. Once again, his Achilles tendon was coming off an injury in December of last year. And then he was a much slower fighter. And if we want to talk about how quick and how smooth and technically sound, the man finished the fight without one cut eye, without one swollen portion of his body. He was on his feet. He was laughing. He was talking to his corner. He was having a good old time. He didn't feel like he was in a tough fight.
I'll tell you what, man, a lot of people gonna keep losing money on Devin, man, because they're not giving that man the respect he deserves, man. He boxed a beautiful fight. No complaints from Kano Loco, man. Shout out to him. He did what he was supposed to do. He showed me more boxing 12 rounds than he would have if he'd have knocked him out in 3 or 4. That's just me.
Yeah, but they said that they were going to outperform everybody, and they shouldn't have gone in with that energy.
Like I said, the pre-fight talk is pre-fight talk. I don't put no weight into that. I just go in there and watch the fight and see what happens in the fight.
But how can you're hardcore, bro? Wait. Kano Loco is hardcore boxing fan. You understand it from a different side. But with DAZN and all these people, they're not going to subscribe for them kind of fights. They were bored with Devin Haney. They were bored with the fight. We know as hardcore fans that he put a master display in there. But we also saw a couple of rounds, Kano Loco, where Devin Haney was frustrated because he couldn't put him out of there. And then Bill Haney said to him, don't worry, just keep going, just do your fight now. Don't worry about the knockout. But they did want the knockout. Let me tell you something, Kano Loco. They had it in their heart that they wanted this knockout with Gamboa, but it didn't come. It didn't come for them. So the truth is, just like you're a hardcore fan, 80-90% majority fans, what World Combat's talking about, it doesn't bring your credit up. People are not going to get the DAZN app because of that fight. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but I could care less.
That's what we're trying to say.
I could care less with the 80-90% that ain't hardcore thing. I don't care.
Tank Davis, he got fans coming out of his ass because of the way he performs. With Teofimo Lopez, he went against all odds. So everybody's performed to extraordinary levels. It's unfortunate that Devin Haney's style of boxing that we respect, because his style is he got a great style, but that's not what's going to win the game right now. And you can't go in that energy with an old Gamboa and say you're going to smoke him out. And everybody, did you see what all the professionals have been saying today? Have you been looking at that, Kano Loco?
I don't, because I don't care. I only analyze.
You know, the professionals are not even happy with him. The professionals have said that he's under.
What did they say about Teofimo when he fought Nakatami? What were they saying?
Yeah, but he came back and proved himself. He came back and proved himself.
Let Devin Haney have that shot to come back and redeem himself on another fight.
Yeah, but Nakatani was an unbeaten fighter. Nakatani was an unbeaten fighter, much taller, younger. He had still a lot of, he was up and coming. Gamboa
and Nakatani was ranked above Teofimo Lopez. Nakatani was ranked above Teofimo Lopez, man. When it came to the fight,
the hardcore fans appreciate it, but majority fans don't appreciate it, Kano.
Y'all are missing the point. Y'all are missing the point. The point I'm trying to make is when Teofimo got out of that Nakatani fight, he went to the drawing board and made adjustments. Do you think Devin Haney's not going to leave this fight, go back to the drawing board, go in the gym and make adjustments? Let's be fair about it, man. That's all I'm trying to say.
All he can make adjustments on, Kano Loco, boxing. He can use his feet more. He can use his distance more. But can he carry more power, Kano Loco? Can he bring more power to the table?
A boxer doesn't need it. All he's got to have is enough pop to make a person.
Well, I don't see him moving 3 weights then. Those talks about him moving weight and bringing power to the table, then I don't think he can bring that power to 147 all the way to 147. Then.
It sounds to me, and I hate to say the name again, but it sounds to me the same thing they were saying about Mayweather, and he climbed all the way up to 150.
But Mayweather look, World Combat told you in the beginning, Mayweather was a whole different beast. He was a different animal to Devin Haney. Let's get this straight, bro. You want to put credit on the man?
Did you think that? Did you think that when Mayweather first was coming up, though? Did you think that?
But you know that Mayweather was a different beast just by you seeing what he did at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You saw that, Kano Loco. You saw what he was.
Man, all I'm saying is he's got the potential, man. The ceiling is high.
Okay,
the sky's the limit for him, man.
He's got the potential. Is he a pound-for-pound guy? Is he a pound-for-pound guy?
Not yet.
Okay, but has he got potential to become a pound-for-pound guy?
Yes, he does.
Okay, well, Kano
that's
Loco.
all we're saying. That's all I'm saying, Kano. He performed well. I said Devin Haney performed well, but I got to call it for what it is. I just don't take this trash talking as just, pre-fight banter. Trash talking means you have to go in there and perform, and we live in like a social media era.
I don't know.
If we're trying to go to PPV, Kano, if we're trying to go to PPV, you need performances like Teofimo Lopez doing 4 million views on free TV. We need Gervonta Davis doing 2.25 plus on PPV. You know what I'm saying? We need that type of performance, a knockout. of quality opposition like Leo Santa Cruz, a 4-division champion. Not
They
saying
need.
that I'm
They
going the distance with a guy. I'm going the distance to prove that I can pitch a shutout. Makes absolutely no sense.
No, that's for, I guess, the regular fans. Then for me, I don't need to see the knockout, man. He pitched a
No, Carlo,
shutout.
you
That's
gotta
all I
appreciate
needed.
this, brother. Brother, if this performance was with a top 10 fighter, we would be right saying, yeah, Devin Haney does it every time. It was with a guy who was, come on, you know where Gamboa is right now, Carlo. You know that, right?
Yeah, like
You
I
see
said,
what I'm saying?
I don't have no issues with him not getting a knockout, none at all. You go in there, the name of the game is get that victory. He pitched the shutout. He won unanimous decision. I mean, to crucify a man after winning a unanimous decision that pitched the shutout, I think that's a shame.
Look, World Combat, you can't blame him. If it was his fighter, he would be appreciated with that performance. But overall, this ain't gonna win no big. This don't do much for his credibility with the casual fans and the money and DAZN. I mean, I don't think DAZN's happy with it either, because after losing Canelo, they're looking for some really, great nights in boxing. And right now,
Man, they acting like it's against the law to say a performance came up short because of the result. The result that the expectations fell short. Man, yeah, he went in there and boxed his ass off. We expected that. We expected that because everybody's comparing him to Floyd and how good he is technically and everything else. But when it comes down to trash talking, okay, we expecting you to go in there and perform and give the it factor. Why? Because people want you to step in there with Teofimo Lopez. They want the Richard Comey finish. They want the freaking performance with Vasily Lomachenko. They want that. If we're trying to link up Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, we need something else we need an it factor.
And you know what? He doesn't have the it factor. Even Adrian Broner at 135, he had the it factor in World Combat Sports. Even Adrian Broner was knocking people the fuck out. Remember?
Well, all I'm gonna say, if Teofimo is feeling the same way y'all do, then he should go ahead and make that fight happen. Since
they better give him.
Seems to me like it's easy.
I agree. Let's go. Let's make the fight. I want to see it.
Yeah, but Conor Loco, he wants 80% to 75% of the pot. Teofimo Lopez, because of all the belts and everything else and what he's proved, he wants 75% of the pot.
That's just too much. You're asking a fighter to fight for free.
So how much do you think he should give up?
60-40.
Okay.
I mean, we can talk to his dad about it, but his dad reckons, look at what his sons achieved back to back.
It should be 60-40, man. I mean, he does, man. Whatever y'all think. I'm going to leave right now, man, because I got some things to do, man. But whatever y'all think about how he got the belt, he does have a WBC belt. I mean, geez, man, y'all got to give it some kind of damn merit. 60-40 in favor of Teofimo, I think is fair.
I think they can achieve that World Combat 60-40. I think they might be able to achieve that.
60-40 is fair. I never said no freaking 70-30. 80-20. I never said that shit. I don't really talk about the money aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm saying that the way that they're looking at it, if Devin Haney wants to fight, they've got the majority share of the purse.
Yeah, got all the belts, but it depends on the promoter. Of course, Teofimo's going to get the bigger share because if the fight's on PPV and DAZN doesn't have that structure, he's going to be on a co-promotion with Top Rank. That's the way it's going to go down.
And Conor Loco makes a good point, though. Nobody should be ducking Devin Haney. Just fight Devin Haney then. You know what I mean? That's a good point.
If they think it's that easy, that's all I'm saying. If they think it's easy work, then prove it.
I don't think anyone's out here saying it's easy work, but for me, I want to see the fight for unification. Even though I support Teo heavy, I always said this: the fighters that I support heavy, I definitely, when they're going into a fight that's going to be a tough one, I want to see them go in there and perform. It ain't no casual shit going on here. I want to see the fighter that I support go in here and throw down just like the one I'm criticizing. Period. That'd be the same thing if Teo stepped in there with Devin Haney. Let's see a damn good fight. Let's go.
Best fight the best. That's all I want to see. That's what I support.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. You know, I mean, we're not casual fans. You know, we appreciate what Devin Haney brings to the table, but I'm just scared for him to go to 140 now. I think there's some killers at 140 with the power, Conor Loco, and I don't know if he can carry this power with him if he goes up. I'm hoping he carries the power, a little bit more power with him if he gets to 140, because he's going to need it. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, Rap Star. I just think he needs to stay at 135 for right now. Honestly, he needs to stay at
At least he's being
135
real
for
now.
right now.
Carlo Loco's being real now.
And we agree. And
we
see,
agree
we
with you,
agree.
brother. We agree.
I never said he should go up to 140. Man, no, no, not right now.
You know, I'm just looking at the collective group out there that's pushing him so hard. Like he's just going to go on a rampage in boxing. I'm saying, man, yes, he has the foundation down, man. He has a beautiful skill set. I even said it on my live, man. Devin Haney is a beautiful boxer to watch for the sweet science of it. But boxing in itself has a bit more of variables attached to it when it comes to finishing a fight. And Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta has shown that they have something that doesn't come alone in this sport. Like you don't pick up this power when you get older. You know, you either have it now and you continue to work on. You just don't pick up that power. Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez, they can box and they have the power. So you know, we'll see what's popping, man. If they make
before Kano goes, if Ryan Garcia does a job on my countryman Luke Campbell, how much of a chance you give him beating Devin Haney?
I don't see Ryan. See, the thing about it is, I don't even know, man. So you put me in a tough spot because Ryan Garcia holds his chin so high, man. I don't see. And once he fights somebody that's a sharpshooter, they're gonna expose that chin and catch it and break it.
Some people are saying that Ryan Garcia's got more power. But some people are saying Ryan Garcia carries more power at 130.
Well, he carries more power, but he's got to land it flush. I don't see him landing something like that flush on somebody that's got boxing skills like a Haney. He's gonna roll with it. Shit, I don't know if he's gonna beat Luke Campbell. I don't know if Ryan Garcia's going to beat Luke Campbell yet.
That's a good point. Kano knows his boxing. That's a good point.
But anyway, man, I appreciate everybody. Let me on. I just want all fighters to be respected. That's all, man. But I appreciate you letting me on, World Combat, and salute to everybody who's in the chat.
Appreciate you, Kano. Salute
later.
Man.
Yeah, World Combat. The problem is, I don't think Kano understands. Coming from a hardcore guy who's in the gym, who trains fighters, I understand where he's going to appreciate Devin Haney for what he brings to the skill, because there's not many people, you know, who understand that science. But, you know, being DAZN's fighter, coming with all that smoke, saying that he's going to be the, you know, they're calling Teofimo the Teofimo, and they've been calling Theo. You know, listen, Kano needs to recognize this. Kano needs to listen to this before because I know he's listening. Bill Haney, Devin's dad, has been calling Teofimo a bitch for the last month. For the whole month. He's been calling him a bitch and a ducker. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, but I don't put too much emphasis because Teofimo, he called Vasily Lomachenko a bitch. He called Vasily Lomachenko a bitch several times before they fight. So,
yeah, but then you've got all these channels which are saying, "Oh, Devin Haney's going to knock him out in the 4 rounds. Devin Haney's going to knock him out in the 4 rounds." Now, all of those people, all those casual fans are quiet now, and they're not saying the same thing. So the problem is, he loses that casual platform. Does that make sense to you, World Combat?
Yeah, man. But you know, we live in, check this out, Rapstar. We live in an environment now where one day you have a rah-rah person talking reckless, all these people following behind and basically co-signing and just following the whole entire narrative, you know, thinking, yeah, I believe he's gonna fuck him up. I'm like this. If my ears heard the same thing, and then after the fight, you up here, your energy is different. You're not even freaking keeping it all the way real because everybody want to talk about keeping it real and shit. You're not keeping the same fucking energy to tell the public what you've seen because you're scared. You're absolutely scared. You bitching up. You're scared. You don't want to call it for what it was. The performance, Devin Haney performance was superb, but the it factor, the results.
Yeah.
You're trying to fight the unified champion, and it has to be on PPV. How is that going to happen when you're sitting up here saying you want to show people you can pitch out a shutout for an old man?
That's what I mean.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. That people say if you don't have the it factor with the old man, you've only got boxing ability now. You haven't got an it factor, they're saying. And look, Devin Haney was never a knockout artist kind of fighter. So I don't know why everybody thought that he was 100% going to knock him out by the 6 rounds.
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean?
You know what I said, Rap Star? I said he needs to. If you look back at my live, I said he needs to, because he needs to do it in shorter time, half the time it took Gervonta to do it, so people can get the buzz going around, because fights are somewhat generated on social media. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these fights are generated on social media at this level, and people start talking about it. That's how Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather was freaking made. People started talking about it. They felt that Conor McGregor can defeat Floyd Mayweather. So, hey, guess what? Dana got with Floyd's team. They started talking, keep on talking shit, Conor, and they went in there and made hundreds of millions. But this performance right here, to talk all this shit before the fight and go in here and say, okay, I went the distance, but yet I want to prove that I can pitch a shutout is absolutely blasphemy.
Hey, you know what? If he did that with a top 10 fighter, I'd be a bit more happy with that performance more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Whatever.
Like, it's just because it's Gamboa's really at the end of his career, you know? If he at least did that with a top 10 small stocky guy, give me a top 10 stocky guy. I mean, I don't even know who can I put him in there with and say, okay, well, that performance wasn't bad with that guy. But it's just that it was a finished old Gamboa, you know what I'm saying? That's all it is. If it was a top 10 tier guy, you wouldn't have been bothered either, World Combat.
No, man, like, hey, bro, you're sitting up here dogging the shit out of these Cuban fighters for being 70 years old and still in here fighting. But yet, you know, Gervonta Davis get dogged the fuck out for going into the 12th round with Gamboa. But yet, it's different energy, you know, we supposed to take when Devin Haney goes into the 12th round. You didn't hear Gervonta saying no bullshit like that. Talking about he just wanted to prove that he can go into the 12th round with Gamboa. Gervonta was on the hunt. He was trying to get him up out of there, dog, and he did. He got him up out of there with the uppercut, with the left uppercut, just like he did Leo Santa Cruz. So come on, man.
Yeah, but Gervonta has the X factor. He has the it factor.
He does, man.
He has the. And you know what, World Combat, you're right. You got a lot of shit for Tank Davis this last couple of weeks, and Tank Davis had done a superb performance, an amazing fan-friendly performance, and they were still shitting on him.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, the motherfucker come out and they pull their mask, down, they get behind the keyboard, and they get racial and they get personal and they dog the man out. But then, you know, Teofimo Lopez steps in here and he going in there with Vasily Lomachenko. Everybody want to dog him out because Lomachenko is the top pound for pound guy. Teo don't have a chance. Then it comes to Gervonta. Gervonta stayed on the hunt. He may have gotten a knockout in the 12th round, but he did. He finished it. He didn't get up here talking about he wanted to prove that he can pitch a shutout. He wanted to prove that he'll knock this motherfucker out until the final second. He was going to try to knock him out until the final second, and he did that shit.
But some people, I wanted to let that other guy know, Conor, that some people are not keeping the same energy today. Even Mayweather said that Devin Haney is a good fighter, but he can't last with Tank. And then Tank Davis put laughing emojis on that performance. A lot of fighters have been actually saying, look, they expected much more from Devin Haney. So this is the professional hardcore world expected much more. Did you know that?
Yeah, man. I put the tweet up there right now. You know, Gervonta Davis, man.
You're out of order, dude. What are you doing?
I put the receipt up there, Rap Star. I mean, come on, bro. Like, man, I'm not making this shit up. Like,
yeah, and even
he's
some
sitting up
fighters
there.
in England, like Luke Campbell's not impressed. They've all been sending tweets in England. But look, the problem is they're saying that if this was Gamboa and you can't shut him out, you're going to have problems with top 10 guys that other fighters are saying. I don't know. I mean, we got it. Okay, look, let's put it this way. He has to fight someone good now, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
But the whole plan is what people are talking about. You know, those individuals that's rocking the same narrative over and over again, that, you know, Devin Haney was going to step in there and just demolish Gamboa and send him to retirement into hospice care.
Oh, no, he hasn't sent him into retirement. You know Gamboa's not retiring now. Gamboa was jumping up and down at the end of the fight.
That's what I'm saying. Gamboa was all happy and jovial. and you know, he was like, yeah. You know, he was like, shit, I got a resurgence in my career going the distance with Haney.
He's going to the clubs last night when he was in the clubs.
For real. They was like, excuse me, is that Gamboa over there dancing like that? And then he just get out of a 12-round fight.
Did you see him dancing at the end of the fight? Did you see that?
He was turning around talking to his corner man. He had the biggest smile, and Gamboa don't smile like that. You know, he was smiling and shit like, yeah, I got a good 2 more fights in me, y'all. Appreciate that.
Because even Gamboa thought he was going to get screwed. He thought he was going to get slept too, if you ask me.
Gamboa definitely went in that. He would have been a fool to take the boxing skill set and the range of Devin Haney for granted. He would have been a fool to walk in there and believe that him being the slower fighter, the more flat-footed fighter, the fighter that's been injured, and also a questionable chin, you have to put all those variables into the bag and say, hell yeah, he stepped into that fight trying not to get knocked out. He didn't want to go to a 2-fight knockout streak, dog. He wasn't trying to do that. Gamboa now has at least 2 more fights against B to C level fighters, and he can get paid. Jason, let me see. Ken said Devin wanted to get in there and test the shoulder before taking a big fight. Hey, you know, if that was indeed the case, we don't know. Of course, he's testing the shoulder because, you know, he's coming off a year layoff, man. Gamboa's coming off a year. I mean, both of them was on basically a year. So I wonder if people are gonna damn sit up here and dog him out like they did Crawford for facing Gamboa after a year layoff. Man, the pages never stopped turning with this guy, for real. I'm not sure where you heard that Haney is a classic box, Tank is an ultimate KO artist, and couldn't take Gamboa out quickly. People were saying that, you know, just like you have the commentators and analysts out here, they were saying that the fight was going to be early. It was going to be an early stoppage. You know, everybody thought that the age. Come on, man, let's stop playing. When Deontay Wilder's in there with Luis Ortiz, he gets no credit, but yet, you know, your favorite fighter that's on the come up, young, hungry lion. He's stepping in there right after Gervonta Davis, who is another young, hungry lion. So in one narrative, you want to say Tank Davis is fighting the old ass, you know, man. And then when Haney fight him, you want to say, okay, we're going to get him up out of here very quick, simple, and going about our business. But then it changes when the final bell rings and you say you want to prove that you can pitch a shutout. Who cares about shutouts? Like, is that going to build up the PPV with the casuals? Are they going to come running when they say, hey, man, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, this, that, and the other? What's going to happen? What's the narrative going to be? Devin Haney going to say, hey, Teo, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. They're not going to believe it. They're not going to believe it, not just off the Gamboa fight, but they're not going to believe it coming off the Fredo Santiago fight, who was 12-0 when they fought. There's nothing Haney could have done last night. You seem to have your mind made up. If Haney KOs Gamboa, you would say he was an old and washed. It's not the fact that I would say anything. What I would say is Gamboa, just like people always talk about Jose Benavidez facing Crawford, they want to talk about Gamboa had an injury in the second round against Gervonta. I would say that's what he was supposed to do. So that kind of blends in with what I said initially. Haney is expected to go in here and get the job done in early fashion because Gamboa is way past his competitive edge. And outside of what you just said, Williams, is that Gamboa has been on the canvas like 14 times already. So yeah, he's supposed to go in there and get the job done. Period. Kano said, Jason Williams, you came late. I was on the panel earlier defending Haney. Salute, Sir Ken. I made a post-fight reaction video explaining it way. I saw it. I realized it, but I had to make my rounds. If Kano, I would check that out. Appreciate you for stopping through there, Jason Williams. All I'm going to say, if it looks easy, then give Haney the fights. Simple, prove it. It is a proven sport. They're going to have to prove it. You know, I want T.O. to step in there. I already said it. Like I said, I got the receipts, and I stand by my word, man. I said Teofimo Lopez, when it comes down to it, if you want to clean up the division without any type of doubt from anybody, they absolutely want you to go for that WBC strap with Devin Haney. So step in with the last remaining champ at lightweight, and let's see the fight. This shit don't change for me just because you never heard me say, oh well, Teofimo Lopez, man, he just needs to go on the 140. And I say business wise, him and his team may think about going up to 140. Business wise, if they're able to get a big fight, because to be honest, the real ones would say a big fight is Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis, but that fight isn't going to happen. But the closest fight to basically say, if you really want to be considered the true undisputed at lightweight, you need to fight Devin Haney. I've said this before. And if the fight happened, it happens, y'all. I saw Gamboa getting washed, not KO'd. I was the same person that said Haney should take a tune-up before taking a big fight, and that's all I got. Yeah, man, I hear you, Ken. But a lot of narratives was floating around on the surface and saying, oh man, Devin Haney was gonna knock this dude out. He's this huge power puncher. And that just isn't the case, man. He's a very technically sound, masterful boxer, very, very schooled, a very well-groomed student who displays the sweet science. If you want to talk about templates of the sweet science and what people look at, they're going to look at the skill set of Devin Haney. But in this game of boxing, people love to see knockouts too. They love to see boxers that can box and have the power to deliver that equalizer. And that's what we got. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to have with Teofimo Lopez. If Devin Haney can go in there and defeat Teo and outbox him and work yourself through adversity, cool. We've seen Teofimo work through adversity. We've seen that from Teofimo, but we haven't seen that with Devin Haney. We've seen Teofimo work through adversity, but we haven't seen how Devin Haney responds if you have somebody that's tying him up and boxing on the inside. The narrative for Haney versus Teo is this is a real fight for undisputed, black, white. Always bring in casuals. It sells. Teofimo ain't white. I can tell you that. He's from Honduras. He ain't white. He's far from being white now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see Gamboa give Haney any problems last night. Well, you never heard me say Gamboa gave him problems. You never heard me say that Gamboa gave him problems. But the assessment is, people are expecting. You know what I'm saying? They are expecting. If there's no expectations, it's no disappointment. If you go in there and you're not expecting anything, it's no disappointment, right? But the fact was, people was expecting different, and it fell short. That's all I'm saying. It fell short, in my opinion, of the result, not the performance, but the result from a guy who's turning 39 years old next month. I didn't see Gamboa come on local salute. What's good, D Hodges? Let me clarify: black versus anyone, not black sales itself. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Appreciate Rapstar for stopping through, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Let me see. But that's just the way I look at it, man. I'm not gonna pull back. Shit, I'm not gonna pull any punches on my assessment. That doesn't degrade or freaking get personal with anything towards Team Haney. It's not that way. But people need to stop selecting who they choose to zone in and target it when it comes to critiquing a fight. You need to relax and stop being so selective on who you target on keeping it real. Because damn well when it's trash talking before a fight, the fans are expecting that. If all these platforms are gonna big up, but then get on here Sunday like the fight never happened, what is that telling you? Ain't nobody talking about it. But I guarantee you, if Haney would have went in here and knocked out Gamboa in 5 or 6 rounds, the platforms would have said, "Oh shit, Devin Haney, wows, he is the next big star, the lightweight. He can beat Teofimo Lopez. He has just as much power as Gervonta Davis because he finished the fight in half the time it took Gervonta." People get on here screaming. They would get on here absolutely going the fuck off. You see how he set that up? You see how he got the finish? Hey, look, that's the way they say about Gervonta finishing Leo Santa Cruz. I feel in a huge way that when it comes to boxing, people are always going to select the flavor. They're going to select the flavor of skills or the flavor of type of fighter that they want to tune into and support. That's how it's always been. They're always going to select the flavor that is nice to them. They're going to select the flavor of type of fighter that they like to watch, even though these individuals can get the result in many different ways. You can get that sound, technical star, that star pupil that has been blessed with innate boxing skill set, technically sound, discipline, don't drink or smoke. And then you can have somebody on the other side that's not as disciplined, but still have an undefeated record, and they're going in there knocking people out. And they can box. Their boxing may not look as pretty as Devin Haney. Say, for instance, Gervonta. It may not look as pretty, but Gervonta can still box. Like, people was on their feet watching Gervonta and Leo Santa Cruz. Why? Because Leo Santa Cruz was bringing the heat, and Gervonta was bringing the heat. When Leo Santa Cruz was having success in the early rounds, these same individuals was jumping up and down just because of what Gervonta did outside the ring. A lot of people wanted to see his downfall inside the ring. So when it seemed like he was knocked down, motherfuckers running around, jumping. They was all on social media. Yeah, Gervonta, he got knocked down. Did you see that? And then the ref waved that shit off. What's going on, Coach Chris? How you feel, man? Salute. Thanks for dropping in, man. What's your take on the fight? No one with sense say Haney has power like Tank. And look, I'm not even a person that goes off these power boxers. You know what I'm saying? I'm never been like that. Never. I've never been that way. I like to see a good, solid boxing match. But also, it's nothing wrong with, if several other people are going to talk about people talking shit and what their fighter is going to do to their opponent, then why act like it's new language when somebody's not absolutely bigging up a fighter who has talked trash himself? Trash talk is a part of the sport. That ain't affecting me. I'm just saying, if you're going to say one thing, deliver. If you're going to say you're going to knock somebody out in this amount of time, deliver, because it's what have you done for me lately to the fans. What I would say is Haney has a skill set and a build that would give Tank and Teo problems. Listen, when it comes down to boxing, of course, the technically sound fighter, if administered correctly, if applied correctly, and the changes are made inside the ring, of course, I mean, any problems can present themselves. But I can say the same for Gervonta Davis. His skill set and the way he fights could give Devin Haney problems. Seriously. A lot of people saying, well, Gervonta Davis, he was kept going to that counter uppercut all the time. Gervonta was landing the uppercut with his right or his left. It's however he chose to send it. It was almost like he was playing with his food a little bit. Like he was showing that, man, I know, man, y'all think, I'm taking these punches and everything. I know y'all think Leo Santa Cruz is having, success in here, landing some punches. But Tank Davis was like, I want to let you know I'm in control. Even though it looks like he's landing some solid shots on me, I'm still in control of the fight. And I got something in store for y'all. Y'all just stay tuned. I got something in store. That's what Tank was doing. And the people was watching the fight. They was engaged because it was a back and forth exchange. Do you think if a crowd would have been there last night, what you think the vibe would have been? I don't know. I'm not gonna sit up here in hindsight and cloud or dilute the performance and say they would have been booing, because people have to understand, those people who go watch boxing doesn't mean they're hardcore boxing fans. Some of those fighters just want to show up to a fight as casual fans for entertainment and see a fighter that may be their favorite. After that, they're not on social media trying to check box recs and see who's the next opponent on deck and lining them up and giving their top 5 next opponents. They're not doing that shit. So that's why you have sometime. I even been to a fight. It's real talk. I even been to a fight where Shakur Stevenson was fighting on the undercard, and they was booing that fight. This is what I'm talking about, man. I got references on site. I was at a fight where people was booing goddamn Shakur Stevenson fight. I was there at a fight where Teofimo Lopez was fighting Eddie Tatley, and people was like, it wasn't really no it wasn't cheers raining down from the rafters. Bro, it all depends on who are we looking at. Like, just because I say, Devin Haney underwhelmed, his performance underwhelmed, doesn't mean he didn't go in there and put on a masterful performance. But in no way, shape, or form, I believe that Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez will be a Floyd Mayweather Canelo. I don't believe it. Even though Devin Haney came in the game quicker than Teofimo Lopez, they're in the same division. They're competing in the lightweight division. So guess what? The only shock value we're going to get from them meeting up is their past performances. We have Richard Comey, Vasily Lomachenko. We have Alfredo Santiago, and we have Yuyukis Gamboa. They're going to take those last 2 performances, and then they're going to juggle their interests and say, do I want to tune in and pay for this fight or what? Yes, it's going to generate freaking fanfare, but is it going to generate enough heat? Is it going to generate enough temperature for people to treat this fight like Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez? Are they going to generate enough to the point where it's Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz? That's my question. I love Tank. It's just hard to see him get behind him because he's outside the ring. He's undisciplined. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Jason. People want to see his downfall because of what he did out the ring. But once again, it's all about who they choose to basically embrace. Because Mike Tyson, he did the worst inside the ring and outside the ring. I say again, he did the worst inside and out. But Tank Davis, you got people wanting him to lose because he's with Floyd Mayweather, and he's had some incidents outside the ring. So people want to see his downfall. They celebrated him making weight when that is professional obligation. True words. And you know how crazy that is when you have people cheering for you to make weight, is the fact they actually give a damn. Because Gervonta has missed weight at 130 and 135. They actually give a damn about Gervonta. They actually give a damn. They expect Haney to make weight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because they pretty much understand his lifestyle outside the ring mirrors his performance inside the ring. So when it comes to Gervonta Davis, people put up all the memes and everything, and they say that Gervonta is undisciplined, he blows up and all that. But yet, for this fight, it was a huge penalty if he would have missed weight against Leo Santa Cruz. So he buckled down, he made the scales, he went in there, and he allowed his left uppercut to seal up another spectacular performance with a nice check and prove that he is indeed a PPV star in the making. He had very good success with 2,250 PPV buys, which is only going to get better. It should get better. And this is with a partial, live gate too. So it's only going to get better for who he fight next. The question is, when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, who had success with Lomachenko, how are they going to, where's this fight going to be? How's it all going to go down? If indeed we get the undisputed titles on the line for the lightweight division, how's it all going to go down? Promoter sells stories. You sell Haney versus Teo as the New Age Duran versus Sugar Ray. That fight was sell big, easy. Duran. I think Duran was much better than Teo. Manos de Pedro. Pedros de Manos. Manos de Pedros. They call him the Hands of Stone for a reason. And Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, hey, we have to see, man. We don't have to sell a fight with the old heads. There's too much of that going on. But I get where you're coming from, Williams. I get where you're coming from with that. I get where you're coming from. And in some instances, if the bigger platforms are able to basically canopy that label of Duran Sugar Ray to the Haney Teo, it may allow people to tune in. You know what I'm saying? Some older fans to tune in, some hardcore fight fans to tune in and check it out. Yeah, I see it. Trap Media, what's good, man? He said, World Combat Sports, Haney is Robert Easter 2.0 with a better understanding of range. Average fighter with discipline and good conditioning. No one's taking that away from Devin Haney. No one's taken away that he absolutely had the 50 cal out with that jab. Like Devin Haney used every bit of space with his jab. I'm talking about every bit of range applicability with his jab. People say Errol Spence has a good jab. I'm saying shit. Devin Haney used every bit of his reach ability with that jab. That's remediation after remediation after remediation. And before you know it, he done stuck another jab in your chest, stuck another jab down low to the abdominals. I mean, he was been sticking Gamboa with that jab. What that jab will be good for is to set up other freaking angles, other type of punches, that he want to land. But also we have to take in consideration of the opponent that he was in there with, not being as mobile and everything else. So, yeah, he was able to basically punctuate jabs. He has a superb, commendable skill set that people should tune into. This live isn't nothing short of that. He went in there and did what he was supposed to do as far as his skill, his boxing technique. He put on a somewhat of a clinic with Gamboa. But also you have to consider and wager in deeply that there was an old fighter past his competitive edge that's 39 years old next month. We can't let that shit slide out. We can't let that shit slide. Hell no. Haney missed weight by 0.5 pounds. They covered it up though. Look at the weight in his weight was 35.5, and then they changed it without him getting back on the scale. Hey, man. Hey, you know how people gonna do, man. At least we was able to see a fight. You know, ain't nobody gonna talk about that. I didn't know that, but 0.5 pounds, you know, was the limit. You know what I'm saying? They was talking about that shit in the UFC recently when Khabib stepped in there against Justin Gaethje, and the guy was freaking. He stepped on the scale, and the scale was still moving when the guy just freaking ran it back and put the freaking weight down there, and the scale wasn't even properly balanced yet. The scale was still moving up, and the guy freaking told Khabib, "Okay, 155." He gave him his weight. It happens, man. It's grimy. Haney isn't a draw like that, and this is brand. And his brand took a hit last night in regards of interest. I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, man. Like, I was expecting more, and I should expect more, just like everybody else was expecting more. But don't get quiet. Don't get quiet, because they don't want to lose that freaking company with BH pulling up. They don't want to lose that. See, I'm not ever starstruck by anybody. I show respect and interest to those I support, and so be it. If that person ever think that it's more than that, then that's their problem. You talking about somebody 50, been around the block, been all over the world. I ain't starstruck at all. I respect the person for who they are, but time you come in here and respect and act like I ain't did shit in like except kick rocks, then I'm looking at you like, damn, you really are an ignorant individual. But some of these people, man, they get up here and they don't want to talk about what they seen last night, and they wanted to just go by, blow away, and talk about the next fight. When I was, you know, I just felt like that if you're going to say you're going to go in there and send this man to retirement, get it. Send him to retirement, because right now all you did was give him his papers, and Gamboa was like, muchas gracias. He has 2 more fights at least. C-level fighters, 2 more fights for Gamboa. In his next fight, he's faced 2 killers back to back. He's faced Gervonta and Devin Haney. He fought 2 killers back to back. I would be hard pressed for him to step in there with a 3rd killer. He's gonna step in there with somebody with a name, but I doubt it's gonna be a 3rd killer, man. Gamboa was too heavy though. With very little movement at this point in his career, Teo and Tank will walk Haney down. Not enough power. I truly believe, you know, fighting styles will clash appropriately. But, you know, people need to understand it's okay to assess a fighter and give your predictions. And that's what predictions are. You can't sit up here and smooth it over when people was going for Lomachenko to watch Teofimo Lopez. You can't smooth it over when Leo Santa Cruz had, man, people going in, making it dirty, grimy, personal. When he was going in there to fight Leo, and they was hoping he would win, he would get knocked the fuck out. Leo throwing over 1,000 punches in a fight. This is Tank fight to end his career. Teo's gonna give Tank his first loss. It's getting dirty. But now, when it comes to one of the fighters that has a history, a unique backstory in boxing that people can latch on to, when he underperforms and people not coming on here holding him accountable for saying some shit like he wanted to prove he can pitch a shutout, but yet you just came off a decision win with Santiago. Let's be clear, man. You came off a decision win with a guy who was 12-0. The fuck are we talking about? I didn't hear you saying that shit with Santiago. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I wanted to prove that I can pitch a unanimous decision over Santiago, a fighter who majority of his fights was in DR. He better not miss weight. The WBC would just give Teo the belt. Man, you ain't never lied. You know, one thing you can say about Haney, his lifestyle outside of the ring is very respectable, commendable. You know what I'm saying? He takes that shit serious. So I'll be, him weighing in 135.5. I'll be hard pressed, man. Absolutely, coach. Absolutely. The fact that all this franchise stuff was going on, they would find any way possible if some came down between Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. They would say, okay, you ain't fighting for the belt. But Devin Haney, if Teofimo beats you, he get the belt, of course. And they'll do anything possible. Every time you turn around, the WBC is creating another belt. The franchise freaking quesadilla belt, the franchise taco salad belt, the franchise double-decker with goat cheese belt, the franchise Oceania Pacific belt, the springtime WBC special edition /3 belt. Every time you look at it, they're coming out with a damn belt, man. Haney needs to fight Fortuna and then Easter. And if you get past those two, then look towards the top guys. That'll be a good two lineup. But you know what? Pride. They're not going to do it. The only way I can see Fortuna popping up, because they tried to pursue Fortuna other than Gamboa. That was the word on the street. So if by chance Fortuna mans up and he becomes a future opponent real soon for Devin Haney, I would like to see that fight. Especially, it's not going to be Robert Easter anytime soon, because Easter is due to step back in the square in January on Adrian Broner's fight card. Undercard. So it's definitely not going to be Easter right now, unless it's like the back end of 2021. But how you at Fortuna? Hey man, whatever he got going on, if he's down to throw down, sign that shit with Devin Haney. But once again, I really think Team Haney is trying to get that big fight with Teofimo Lopez. Jason say at Trap Media, whether you like it or not, Haney is the WBC champion. If Teofimo wants to call himself undisputed champion, he needs to take off. He needs to take that off Haney. And I agree with you on that, and I've said it. But on the other side, I've also mentioned that regardless if Teofimo Lopez faces Devin Haney or not, people are going to say what they say. They're going to say he defeated Vasily Lomachenko, and that's going to be the narrative. The time that he defeated Vasily Lomachenko, he was the top 2 pound-for-pound guy in the world. And he was the former WBC world champion. He actually held the WBC belt. So people are going to look at that and say, well, he cleaned out the division because he beat the guy who actually fought for the WBC belt against Luke Campbell. Even though it was for the vacant, he fought for the WBC title. Hardcore fight fans, when it boils down to the WBC sitting out there with Devin Haney, it would be proper. It would be the protocol to line everything up right. All the belts on the line. Lightweight. Undisputed. World Championship. Showdown. Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney. PPV. Yes, it needs to happen. Absolutely. And we're not talking about on the zone either. I know the zone would love to have that fight. But as far as, people understanding the money, the zone might try their best to seek out their investors and say, hey, could you dip in your pocket just one more time? We really need to pay Teofimo Lopez what he wants to fight on the zone for this card to co-promote. And that's the least of your problems. You got to go through Bob Arum. You know, I mean, the Zone would try their damnedest to get more subscriptions by having that fight, Devin Haney. That would be the fight to do it. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, man. You know, the Zone is struggling for subscribers right now. So we'll see how that works, man. D-Ray in the building. What's good? Jason say he's the regular champion, just like Tank is the WBA. Who is that? Jason Williams, Trap Man. So, oh damn, Trap Media coming with the fire, man. Trap Media said that freaking Devin Haney is the regular champion. That's not true. That's not true. We can't compare the WBC belt that Devin Haney has to that of the WBA secondary belt that Gervonta Davis has. You know what I'm saying? I know where you're going with it. I get it, man. I get it. It's a secondary belt to the franchise. But, man, out of respect, I cannot sit up here. I cannot do it. I cannot sit up here and co-sign on that. I understand where you got it, but the WBC belt that Devin Haney has is legit. You know why it's legit? Because across the board, it's still out there. It's still out there in other divisions as a legitimate super title. It is. Just because they have a franchise belt at 160 and 135 doesn't erase the fact that there's WBC champions out there and the franchise belt is absent from that division. So I wouldn't compare it to the WBA regular. Hell no. That's reaching with rubber arms right there. With rubber arms. That's reaching, dog. Loma ducked, but that's not T.O.'s fault. Nope, it's not. But he was the WBC champion. He defeated Luke Campbell. Funny thing is, neither T.O. or Devin have the clout to me for either of them to talk if they're not getting in the ring. Well, I would say this, Coach. I know the numbers haven't came out from the Zone yet, and I wouldn't trust them because Eddie Hearn's always bloviating the numbers that's coming out of the Zone just so people can subscribe. That him being the mouthpiece of the Zone, that's what it is. But the Teofimo can brag a little bit because over 4 million people view his fight with Vasily Lomachenko. And I know it took 2 dance partners, you know, but they did pretty good on free TV. They did pretty damn good. So I would say the one that has the clout, that ran the gauntlet the best, was Teofimo Lopez. Him knocking out Richard Comey in 2 rounds and then coming over here and winning the decision against Vasily Lomachenko, who was the top 2 pound for pound at the time. SB90 in the building. What's good with you? He said nobody's rushing to subscribe after that fight. Damn, nobody's rushing to the Zone to subscribe after that fight, man. I get it. I get it. But just like Jason Williams said, hey, Coach Chris, I can't argue against it and say you're wrong. I mean, both of them are not just like superstars right now. You know what I'm saying? T.O. has more of a bragging right from being a unified champion, of course. And he had a freaking damn good, respectable performance with Lomachenko. But with Haney going the distance with a guy who's 39 years old this year, it kind of makes 0 sense to me that people would sit up here and hype that shit up like he was in there with the motherfucking top 2 opponent and he was fighting to unify. He wasn't fighting to unify the division. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a guy who's coming off a knockout loss. So don't cry as if this fight it should be highlighted like Devin Haney put on a freaking boxing clinic and he wanted to show the world he can box. We already knew that, to be honest. We already knew Devin Haney can box before the damn Gamboa fight. So why are you sitting up here showing people you can box? We already knew you can box. And I'm just not all jumping around, tap dancing and shit. Just because you said you pitched a shutout versus a 39-year-old fighter. Originally, it was just a designation, but they changed it to transferable, and that's not Teal's fault. In 2021, the franchise belt is in the talks of being in every division. If they make the franchise belt in every division, man, and then the WBC belt becomes secondary, that's when I will change the narrative. But right now, I have to keep the narrative of the Devin Haney's belt as a legit title. I get where you coming from there, Trap Media. But right now, it's only holding on two divisions, 160 and 135. So until it becomes mandated, like you're talking, if that is indeed the case in 2021, making it across the board, then there you go. There you go. Just like the WBA. The WBA has all these titles, the regular title, the gold title. It's too many out there, man. And don't nobody know who those guys are on ESPN. For all the views and channels, ESPN isn't doing a good job to promote any boxer. I agree with that. And you know, Coach, when freaking Teofimo Lopez was on there leading up his fight, they took all that time to go over to ESPN. And I say the coverage of Teofimo in an interview had to be just outside of 5 minutes. They ask him a couple of questions, and they use the producer notes, and they keep it moving. Seriously, they keep it moving. Now, the only person that may get a little bit more love is Tyson Fury, because they just like hearing Tyson Fury say dumb shit. They believe it. I'm going to hit the Dr. Das out. I got me 50 stones in both of my hands. And since I got me 50 stones, no one can beat me. They love hearing Tyson Fury talk some shit. They love it. But you want to hear some, Coach, that'll make you laugh? Trap Media, Jason Williams. I got some that's funny as shit. Check this out. It's gonna make you laugh, man. And I'm bringing it up because Coach brought up ESPN, even though this guy is on a whole different show of ESPN. But Jalen Rose. This is how much some of these dudes. Stephen A. Smith is trying his hardest, man. This is how much some of these dudes really don't attend or watch boxing. They're very much casuals. If it's a big fight, they would show up and sit on the floor seats next to the ring and see it just so the camera can catch them. When Gervonta Davis won, Jalen Rose said, you know what? That guy, man, he has very good power, man. Like, his knockout was a highlight reel. Now they should put him in there with Canelo Alvarez, man. That would be a good fight. If they put Gervonta Davis in there with Canelo Alvarez, that would be a good fight. Jalen Rose said this shit. Jalen Rose said Gervonta Davis should fight Canelo Alvarez. He has absolutely no idea of the weight difference of these fighters, but they're casuals. They see Canelo Alvarez float across their freaking timeline. They know who he is. He's a fighter. And then Gervonta Davis float across their timeline. And Jalen has the audacity to say Gervonta should fight Canelo Alvarez. That'll be a good fight. And I'm like, oh my God. They really are out of tune. And that's why these fighters need to continue to build up their Wall Street so people can know who they are. You need to do like the Devin Haney's and put some pictures out there and let the fans know what you got popping. You need to emulate the Ryan Garcias, who are absolutely putting videos out there that people are tuning into. Now, of course, we're going to expect him to show that in the ring, but Ryan Garcia is doing a damn good job with marketing himself. Now, the fighters that we don't see too much of that from, who they'll say they still getting money. You know, you got, Devontae Davis, Errol Spence, the Terrence Crawfords. I would say even Teofimo Lopez. You don't see these guys out here really promoting themselves that big. Even Vasily Lomachenko. Man, if it wasn't for his Olympic pedigree and him being able to become a 3-division world champion in a short period of time in his professional career, really nobody really know who he is without freaking ESPN freaking promoting him the way they did. He said, trap media say, good luck with that until that franchise bullshit exists in every weight class. It doesn't exist in any weight class. I mean, yeah, you can say that, Jason. You know what I'm saying? I know where you're going with it. I get it. But Mauricio Suleiman keep pushing it. I mean, shit. Long as they keep coming off the conveyor belts and WBC keep on pushing them out in distribution, it's only a matter of time before we see this shit in every weight class. And what that's going to do, that's going to promote the current WBC champions. And then you're going to automatically see a whole group, an entire group of fighters elevated the same way Devin Haney was. Seriously. So how does it play for the WBC? How does it play out? You're going to have to pay some sanctioning fees for that shit. It ain't free. It ain't the franchise belt. It's a franchise belt. So you're still going to have to come out the pocket. Jason Williams say, trap media, did you hear Mayweather tell them they need to clean that shit up with the belts? He didn't mean create new ones. Look, Mayweather, when he was going off on his rant, I guess once again, I totally understand where he was going with it. It's belts everywhere. But people have to understand, the more belts it is, the more people get paid. The more it allows a fighter to negotiate a little bit with his contract. I don't know. If you're a champion, people are going to walk around as if they're a champion and they're going to, have a larger paycheck than what they would without a belt. It may not be the belt that you want to identify them as having. It might be a 4th dairy, a 5th dairy, a 6th dairy belt, but it's a belt, right? So for that fighter and his opponent, they might have a pretty decent paycheck stepping in there. Man, he's going to fight the WBA Oceanside Atlantic Pluto mixed in with a Walmart parking lot belt. That shit is like limited edition. I'm talking about A1. That's the limited edition WBA belt. I mean, they make a big enough deal out of it, just like they did Virgil Ortiz. He's the WBA gold champion, right? They're making a big deal out of that shit, knowing that the WBA has all these motherfucking titles out here. All these titles, man. But yet, when fighters are wearing these belts, it looks good. They feel good. They don't care about it. They feel good. They feel good about having that strap, man. Trap me to say at Jason Williams, you biased, bro. Floyd was also speaking like Tank has the real 135-pound belt. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. See? Talk to him. Floyd did say, and he absolutely dismissed 2 individuals. He dismissed the WBC champion, and he dismissed Teofimo. Not only did he dismiss Teofimo, he's dismissed the fact that, I'm trying to think what Floyd said. He dismissed. He basically included Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis as the real champions. I mean, that's how he was throwing shade. And he dismissed the fact of, first of all, acknowledging Teofimo by name. He just basically skimmed over that. He really didn't give the man his credit. He just skimmed over it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, damn, Floyd, you throwing mad shade tonight, bro. You throwing mad shade. What's going on with that shit? You throwing mad shade. But anyway, Floyd also uses franchise Super WBA status to maneuver around fighting Thurman. Bias means to feel or show inclination. Damn, he dropping freaking definitions out this month. Inclination or prejudice for against someone or something. The existence of a franchise status for 3 fighters is the definition of biased. Damn. Stop that now. You're being untruthful. Floyd never had the franchise status like Canelo or Loma. He had leverage. Get it right. Yeah, man, you totally have to understand. Let's not say that Floyd had the franchise. You know what I'm saying? And let's not even think about the include if Floyd really was given that privilege like Canelo Alvarez, because he's the one that gave that damn clinic when they thought Canelo Alvarez was going to be the first to give Floyd his loss. They thought for sure Cinnamon would go over there and add some extra spice and giving Floyd Mayweather his first loss. But that wasn't the case. We know that because it was so much a clinic that Canelo Alvarez want to come to the people and say, you know what? No sé, señor. No sé. No sé. Mila, listen. That fight with Floyd Mayweather, that wasn't me. I was too green, I say. Understand that. Entiendes, amigo. I didn't lose to Floyd Mayweather. I wasn't at the top of my game. I wasn't skilled enough. Canelo Alvarez was trying to convince the people that he did not lose to Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't even the boxer he was, the boxer he is today. He wasn't that guy when he fought Floyd Mayweather. So therefore, since Floyd was the more well-rounded, skilled superstar in the game, Canelo Alvarez says he's going to try to omit that from his memory. He's going to just try to erase it like it's the Matrix. Look into the light. Pop! Canelo's actually thinking that he's undefeated right now. He's 53-0. No. Take that back. 54-0. Canelo believes 54-0. And Gennady Golovkin is around here trying to say the same thing, probably. You know, when I face Canelo, I should be 41-0. Okay, because the second fight he did beat my ass, but I should be 41-0-1. I mean, whatever it is, you know, Abel Sanchez had me on Mexican style, you know, hey, the first fight before we stepped in the ring again, I should have been undefeated still because I felt I won that first fight. The second fight, clearly, I may have lost, but still, you know, he's out here trying to figure out how he can get back in the game too. But anyway, he gets no shine today. He gets no motherfucking shine today. Trap Media say, Jason Williams, I disagree with WBC franchise and the WBA Super because it allows fighters to duck, but it's the top status now in 2 divisions. You know, people are going to have to take in consideration that boxing is changing, man. They got to find another way to make some money. And you know who they're going to make money off of? The fighters. As long as boxing been around, I asked myself, why weren't they able to survive a bit better during the pandemic? And they've been around longer than mixed martial arts. That's because of lack of structure. Boxing was shut down in multiple areas of promotions that we used to seeing online and making these big fights. They were struggling. How can you be around boxing for so long and you're barely making it through a pandemic and your fighters are out here starving? That's just a note. WBA Super gives you the same ability not to have to fight your mandatory. He didn't have to fight Thurman because he was the super champ. And the WBA Super doesn't have mandatories. At WCS, that impersonation, man, I try to blend in a little bit of freaking linguistic smoke. Floyd smoked Canelo. Floyd is the best ever for me. So I'm not gonna get into that right now. Trap media, because Floyd is not my best fighter ever, but he is some best fighters. You know what I'm saying? So I give him that perspective. He is some best fighters, but I'm not saying he's mine, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna fake the funk with you. He is one of the best to ever do it, of course. But when it comes down to it, I just look at this skill set of some other fighters. I know he's dogged out Sugar Ray Robinson. You know what I'm saying? I know he's dogged out Muhammad Ali because and also I got to hold Floyd accountable. He'll probably say, you know, fuck that, I don't want to hear it. But he said, you know, look at Muhammad Ali. He lost to Leon Spinks. And when I brought this shit up to a casual, they thought I was dogging out Muhammad Ali when I told them that I talked to the people, and I talked to the people that was there. That Muhammad Ali, freaking, it was set in stone for him to lose against Leon Spinks, and so he can get the belt back and be a 3-time heavyweight champion. It's facts. How can you lose to a 7-0 fighter? How can Muhammad Ali lose to a 7-0 fighter? And then once he got his title back, he had 2 back-to-back losses, didn't he? So you trying to tell me he was good for that night with Leon Spinks, who took his title, but he wasn't good to continue on the rest of his career? That's just a tidbit right there, bro. But then I turn around with Floyd. I'm like, look, Floyd, you sit up here and gave Conor McGregor. You gave Conor McGregor a fighter who is 0-1 on your record right now. Conor McGregor will always be on your box rec, because he was able to get a boxing license with 0-0 professional fights and go in there because he's a 2-division champion at the same time, simultaneously, over the UFC. You gave him a shot and he didn't deserve it. Conor McGregor didn't deserve to share the ring with Floyd Mayweather in boxing. There's plenty of other fighters who want to fight Floyd Mayweather. And that's where my mindset at when it comes to some of these freaking fights in boxing. It's a popularity contest. That's all I'm saying. It's a freaking popularity contest, man. And Conor McGregor was able to go ahead for the popularity contest. There are too many greedy people in boxing. That's why it struggles during the pandemic. But it will always be around. It survived everything. Boxing has been around, but it should be at a higher point. You know, we're talking about the tip of the empire in combat sports. Boxing has been around for such a long time. And the growth of the sport, no way it should have been, it came close to struggling the way it did during the pandemic. It shouldn't have came close. Absolutely not. It shouldn't have came close to struggling. Fighters out here freaking scrounging for a freaking meal. They don't know when the damn boxing is going to open back up. For the longest of time, it should have a more solid structure to it, so it wouldn't have suffered the way it did, because it has so many entities in the sport where those entities was just crumbling. Well, you had the UFC coming on deck, time the freaking Florida open up. They said, okay, We're going to use this right here. And then Tom Vegas helped out. We're going to go to our training center, the Apex Center. We're going to start training over there. They had other alternatives to step into. Boxing was pretty much timid to follow suit because of COVID. But Dana White was like, no, I'm gone. I'm going to talk to some people. We're going to make some shit happen. We're going to come out the pocket. We're going to make this shit happen. The only place where Dana White's been was shut down was in California. They tried to have a PPV, I believe, on an Indian reservation, and the governor of California shut that shit down and said, no, you're not doing it. But just the effort of him going over there trying to make a UFC fight happen while we were still in the pandemic, salute to him. Exactly. No one owns boxing, so no one is building it up. Boxing is not a company. It's a vehicle to get money. The UFC is a company. MMA is a vehicle. Dana builds up the UFC into the MMA. Correct. But boxing should be structured to a point where it can continue to build itself up. Boxing should be that entity, but it's not. Just like you said, it's not. It's everywhere. It's like an Easter egg hunt. That's what boxing is. When boxers join the sport, they pick a division, and then they just go on an Easter egg hunt on who they want to fight. You know, they just goddamn, if they want to go over here to build up their record, they do it. You know, some of them people are just like, they're not even reputable opponents, but as long as they can find somebody that has a professional license and they're okay, they'll go fight that opponent. It's everywhere. And then they decide which route they want to go. You know, it's WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, or the Oceania, the Asia Pacific title, the 7-Eleven title, the 4th of July Independence Day title, the Black Boxers Matter title. You know, it all depends, like which title are we going for? That's how boxing is. It's a freaking Easter egg hunt. WBC Intercontinental. The shit never ever stops with boxing. If you're in the building, hit the thumbs up button, man. Hit the thumbs up. But people, it's been a pleasure once again. Appreciate everyone for stopping through. I just had to give my Devin Haney post-fight, you know, what I thought about it. And I said what I had to say. We move on. I really wanted to, you know, kind of touch bases on, I'll save it for another live though. I'll just save it for another live. But appreciate everyone for stopping through, man. Y'all got to smash that like button, man, and subscribe to the channel. And check out my interview that I basically posted, that I just recently posted on YouTube, of Desmond Butler. He was one of the boxers. It was 2 black boxers that was in this documentary, The Ringside, and a producer followed them for 9 years. 9 years when there was boxing as little kids all the way up to their life as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they basically did a documentary on 2 people. I was able to interview Destiny freaking Butler with his father over there in San Antonio. Y'all check that video out. You know, I always try to, you know, lens the moment and get with these people when I can, man, if it's accessible. But y'all need, if you have Hulu or Netflix, check out the documentary, the boxing documentary, Ringside. Check that shit out. If you want a good movie to watch right now, you know, with the way things are going on and stuff like that. Boxing's starting up next month. And just so that you know, basketball. Basketball starting back up next month. For those of you, basketball is back in the building, y'all. The season starts next month, man. That shit is crazy. I just had to throw that little tidbit out there. But anyway, check out that, man. Check out the video. Follow him, Desto.29 on IG. Follow that young man. You know what I'm saying? Until next time.